Hello, friends. How are we doing today? It is good to see you all. How are we? Welcome, Or, you absolute peachy legend, into the Streamlabs. And hello to Modalics as well. Thank you so much for having me on your channel, Or. This is an absolute pleasure.
It's our pleasure, man.
This is so cool. I'm so glad we're doing this. Whey! Thank you, Carolina, for your 34 months of subscribing. That is incredible. That's my wife. Carolina has now subscribed to me on Twitch for 34 months since I started. This is insane.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for that. Oh, man. So today we are playing with Beat Scholar by Modalics, which is Or's wonderful company, and it's an incredible piece of software, a plugin and drum sequencer that is blowing my mind. I absolutely love being around Or. I love making music with him. I love chatting shit with him. It's a great thing. He's just an awesome human being, and yeah, I'm just so giddy that we're doing this. It's just playtime for us now, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the feeling is mutual. I think we kind of connected from the first 5 minutes. I think we spent next to each other.
Yeah. For real.
Like I suspected, with this background music, it makes everything sound very romantic.
Yeah, everything is super chill with lo-fi. I love it.
No, but it's cool. Yeah, I think like we found a common language like really quickly. Both like being really kind of avid nerds of music and everything from like, you know what I remember the most?
Yeah.
The fact that you sight read the gig that we did together.
Yeah, it was. I did not learn it. I didn't learn it well enough. And yeah, no, for real. I sight read for that. Yeah, and it was actually a really important show in my life. I didn't realize in the moment how important it would be. But me and Orb had the pleasure of playing together for the first time, playing for John Brown's Flux Conduct project, which was amazing because I had obviously left Monuments with injuries, and this was an amazing moment to come back and play music with Brown again for the first time in years, and Or absolutely slayed the bass guitar of that. You can watch that show on YouTube. It's called the Mayonnaise 35th Anniversary, and it's the Flux Conduct show. There's like a full pro audio stream of it, and it was really sick. I was also playing with Dispersed there, so it was like we were in Poland doing that, and then this was happening too, and it was just, the stars just aligned, didn't they? It was so cool.
Yeah, we actually didn't even get to rehearse. Like we met at soundcheck playing some of the most, I don't know, for me it was some of the most intense material I've played, especially considering the kind of the way we set it up, where this you know, it will connect to actually the theme of the stream, which is great. How to cope with learning music that's very complex without actually getting together in the same room, and then still like feeling the same groove when we start to play. There wasn't like oh wait, where's that beat going? Like we both really locked in, and we felt like a cohesive rhythm section right off the bat because of like core elements that we're about to discuss in the stream. I guess like we're about to like unveil some I don't know, I want to call it secrets, but it's like the way we think when we navigate this sort of music. And yeah, I was like super impressed by you, man. I was blown away. I mentioned the sight reading thing as a sort of like it was, you know, to kind of float your boat, as they say, because I was blown away that I could barely handle it, like as far as I felt. Yeah, I felt like hanging on for dear life. I don't mind saying that now.
Man, that's so cool. I was like so so blown away by your like accuracy to the playing, and you know, I hadn't seen anyone slap the bass to stuff like that in such a
'Cause I
strong
couldn't-
way.
I couldn't really play like he did, like John, you know, down picks and grooves like that. So I actually sent him a video saying, hey, like, do you mind if I just convert everything into like my kind of slap technique? And he just replied, dude, this is the most amazing thing I've heard, like, please do. And he was like super nice about it. And he, like, we synced up on Skype, and I was like, I don't know what to do here, I play it like this. And he was like super excited about whatever.
Yeah, he
convert.
loves just hearing things that are new and exciting to him, right? So it's just so sick.
So we should probably mention, even though we put it in the description, that we're giving away 5 copies of Beat Scholar during this stream. All you have to do is go to modalics.com/downloads and sign up to our newsletter. And we'll pick 5 winners during the stream. At some point, it'll be like a raffle, and you know, some of you might be writing polyrhythmic music in no time.
For real. You should definitely jump on that mailing list and just to learn about what Modalics is up to in general, because
We
this.
also have a plugin release coming up. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, you have your new beta that you're putting out at the moment, right?
Right.
So-
We have Eon ARP, which is our next upcoming product. It's a pretty intense arpeggiator that shares a lot of common ground with Beat Scholar, and it's sort of a melodic harmonic counterpart to it. It's gonna be awesome, and yeah, it's worth to sign up for the newsletter, because you'll be happy that you did once we release Eon.
So I'll talk a bit about my a bit of an introduction as to why I was initially so excited by just learning that you had a plugin company in the first place, because Or was involved in making Bass Slapper. I don't know for any of you regulars who've seen me on the stream making music with that back in the day, back in the early days when I was super enamored by that stream, and then Bass Fingers as well. These are instruments made by Waves that Or worked on, as well as EL, both of these legends who've now made Modalics, which is their own plugin company. So for me, if you saw that plugin, you'll know that this is some seriously awesome stuff. This isn't by no means sharing plugins for the sake of sharing plugins. This is like stuff I am so passionate about. I'm so excited to work with. And then when I saw Beat Scholar came out, I was like, oh, I think this might be the thing that I've been looking for in terms of a new way of looking at time and splitting drums up and doing cool things with it. And now I've basically undertaken on this journey recently of making a plugin preset pack for Beat Scholar that you can now take. A bunch of the stuff I'm going to show you is preloaded in the plugin, ready for you to work with. And I think by the end of the stream, you'll see why I find it so exciting, because I found a way to basically make this be basically like a cheat code on how to make things that are too hard to make by letting a series of systems just do the thing, rather than have to work out how to do them. You can just hear them happen, and you can understand a bit about what's going on in the creation of polymetric, progressive metal, modern metal riffs that are based in this way. I think you'll find it really interesting, and I don't think there is one singular way to do this yet, but in making the presets and playing around with it, there's so many things we've done. So today we could have a bit of fun making music together, analyzing other music, coming up with stuff on the spot, recreating riffs from other songs, and just trying stuff out, really, and then, you know, mucking around as we go. What do you think?
Sounds awesome. Like, we can dive right in, and just wanted to say that this is kind of cool, because when we saw what you were doing with Bass Slapper and Bass Fingers, which is the kind of follow-up, we felt like, oh, this guy gets what we're doing in such a deep sense. And then you kind of did it again now with Beat Scholar, as soon as you sent us the first kind of video of, hey, this is how I would like to use this. Mike has this very special approach of using like 2 instances. You'll see in a second. We'll stop teasing you. But yeah, it's the same feeling where you really go into a different level and kind of create your own systems to use things, and then kind of explore the existing systems and see how you can manipulate them to create the music that's in your head in a very inspiring way. So how about we just dive right in?
Yeah,
And
we'll have a look at it. We'll just dive in, and I'll show you what's going on and how I'm using the plugin, what the plugin is, and basically just anything related to this whole process. So for those of you who haven't seen the video that came out recently on Modalic's channel, I haven't actually released that one on my channel just yet. I thought I would give you a chance to have that one out first, and for all of your Beat Scholar fans to see that, and I'm going to release a version of that on my channel very soon. But I wanted this to be kind of like a special, like, first show on the stream. So for most people, this will be the first time you're seeing it. What Beat Scholar is a drum sequencer which can do pretty much anything time-wise that you want. This is one instance that I'm running, and I'm doing something special here where I'm running two of them at once. This one's doing basically what my kicks are going to do, or other kinds of weird things that we can do with weird time signatures. And then I'm running another instance which is doing stuff with the hands. Now, this is a little bit more like what people kind of expect from Beat Scholar in what I've got going on in the hands. This might look a little bit crazy to you, but I want to just show you what, rather than tell you what it does, I just want to show you what it does immediately. All I've done is I've got MIDI tracks lining up into Beat Scholar here, so I can audition them and turn them off, and then they're going to play my drum kit, which I've got currently loaded up is Mixwave Gojira. So we'll basically be listening to the hands playing the drums for us without me entering anything. This is a completely empty project. I just press play and this happens. So this is a preset that's actually inside the plugin itself, and you basically can have yourself all of these grooves straight off the bat, and because the riffs are made in 4/4, and this will work in a 4/4 project, it'll work in anything that you want, and it will give you something to jam along with whatever kind of music that you're making. So this, as a first step, is just a really cool example of how this sequencer works. You'll probably see that there is a pi-based process where we have 4 quarter notes, we will have 4 pies, each pie resembling a quarter note, each one of whatever these is, which is a lot purer and a lot more simple and visual than most notation-based input. It's less blocky, it's a little bit more friendly. Color shades relate to velocities in this case, so that's why the crash cymbal punches up and down, is because we've got loud, quiet, loud, quiet. That's the differences in the colors. And then we're using 16th notes here, which are our quarter notes divided by 4. And then we've got ghost notes and normal snares, and that's the entirety of what's going on here. And I do this quite a lot when I'm writing stuff. If I want to get inspired, I'd rather jam along to something that sounds like this before I ever jump into like just having a click. I might want to just like grab an instrument and just sort of like play around. I've actually got a couple of instruments up here as well. So what I can do is demonstrate a bit of a process that I might do with that before I've even got any kind of something going on. I might jam along. I've got this a kind of guitar by Odin working at the moment, and yeah, it's working really quite nicely. I've just realized that by having the guitars and the bass up at the same time, we've got this kind of constant everything making noise on everything, and me being kind of unable to play just one thing at once. So it's resulting in this. And it's a little bit more than I bargained for. And I just realized I actually can't currently have Beat Scholar play Gojira while I play the guitar. But that's a simple routing thing that I'm gonna go ahead and fix right here. We worked this one out not too long ago by just using MIDI sends. We can basically have these run. There we go, and then that's completely. Now it works perfectly. Okay, cool. So, and the great thing I love about instruments like Odin by Solemn Tones and Gin Bass by Submission, which is what I'm using at the moment, is that with a bit of transposition I can basically play a single riff and have it sound absolutely huge straight off the bat. haven't done much in terms of preparing this. So there's a couple of things I like to do: turn Swift off, turn Humanize down, and now it's just amazing how you get like stereo guitars and bass like instantly. It's such a cool writing tool. So writing songs like Somnus for the Monuments album came from a process basically this setup, but the difference here is that I would have had to have programmed out drums jamming, and then I would have had to come up with that groove, and then I play along to it. It might not be the easiest thing for someone to do. So here you can just load up the plugin, either use the internal drum sounds or route it into a drum kit, align your MIDI notes, and then whatever it might be. Pretty much any riff can kind of feels like it just wants to sort of come out of your fingers a little bit more. So
That was awesome.
yeah, we can make like gent versions of pretty much like any. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been Beat Scholar. Thank you for joining.
It's the best demo that we ever had for Beat Scholar. Is you playing that. It's like this is our next ad. It's just this.
It's
Mind
just
the drum and bass one.
it's just everything right there. Okay, but I digress. So I just wanted to show off for those who just have no idea what this Beat Scholar thing is. That's what we're dealing with. We got a sequencer. It can do whatever we want. We just so happen to be using this in 4/4 mode. But I am doing a foot one as well because, and for the time being, as far as I know, this is the only way to do it. But I'm hoping that one day we can do this all in one instance of this plugin. But for now, by loading another one in, you can make up any pattern you want, and it will just cycle and cycle and cycle, and it will just keep falling out of time in a displacing way of like that we like. So for example, this is quite a good example of a riff. I'm gonna just jump into my preset pack and I'm gonna go kit pattern examples and just go for kick drums. Oh no, this is the full examples thing in terms of the modules and patterns, the kick patterns. This is a really good place that I like to show this from. When this plays, it's going to do the 7/16, 7/16, 7/16, and 9/16, and it's just going to do those in a row, and then it's going to keep going. It's just going to keep displacing. You're going to hear it with the hands and the feet here. And it will just keep going. Like, it's just not going to stop at like, and that to me is 90% of the hard work. Once you know that you want to have some cool sounding patterns, once you come up with something melodic that is kind of segmented and kind of, made up in small pieces, you just want to hear what it sounds like. There's a lot less brain work required to just hear it in the first place. And it literally is as easy as just hitting this particular setup, just have these playing and then Gojira recording and just going record. Oh, it should be, but for some reason the MIDI on the send mode isn't tracking. So if I wanted to just do something like that in this current setup using MIDI sends, I have to record it this way. It's a Cubase thing. I don't really mind. It's not much of a workaround. And then I've got this great MIDI that I can now go ahead and turn off Beat Scholar and work with. And making this used to be the only way you could make that. Like, literally the only way. You just had to work out how you were going to do that. You had to know about all these back-end systems and then construct this yourself. But like, just looking at that takes so long for me to make, and I will have gotten there by trying to do the modular process. And I do understand that doing something like that is not someone's normal process, but that's why including these as presets inside your amazing plugin is so awesome, because it's like an opportunity to learn and discover naturally what these things do.
We should probably mention that there's also presets that show the difference between seeing everything on the same grid and seeing like how many times the kick pattern is being displaced.
That's
So
a really
Mike
good point.
prepared two methods you can, or three, actually even three methods you can work with. So one of them, which I'm guessing he's going to show right now, is everything combined, and you're getting the sort of, let's call it the overall vibe, but not the real effect that we're aiming at. Because when everything is kind of composed together in Beat Scholar, sometimes to get enough permutations with complex sequences, you would need like a huge amount of bars. I don't know, like I'm not sure how many. It depends on the complexity. So Mike's approach, even though it's using two instances, it kind of simplifies things, because you have one instance that's its only job is to take care of the permutations of the kick drum, and then the other instance is basically looping a 4/4. Like that's what makes your head go like our heads go like this while it's playing. So the interaction between the two instances is really where it's at. But then again, if you just want to work within one instance, you have those examples there. And if you're looking for that sound, but you don't actually care if it rotates properly, like we intended, that's a good way to get introduced into this sort of polymetric sounding rhythms. So just wanted to point that out.
It's a great explanation of it for sure. Like I couldn't agree more. Like this is like looking at the result, like what we just spat out of Beat Scholar. This piece of MIDI, I've muted it for now, so this will now not play. But this is what it's going to be being played by. A single instance of this is going to play that exact same pattern with a 4-bar loop, and I've painstakingly programmed this in. This was really as hard as it would be for someone who's programming something like this for the first time in a piano roll. It was as difficult for me. I was having to compare it to the systems to make sure I was getting it right, because looking at it from this perspective is kind of like it's the only option that we pretty much have to do this right now. And so it sucks to like need to have a theory license to even create it, you know, to get there accidentally or purposefully, either way. But this is what that sounds like. So as you can see, it's the same sounding pattern, and I've programmed in a whole bunch of alternating ones with different kick drum patterns. All these geometrically polymetric patterns all down the side are all pre-prepared for you. They're just examples of what these can be. And
I do want to mention one thing. That we are going to release an update for Beat Scholar that will allow all of this to happen within a single instance. We actually have it implemented in the engine. The engine does know how to do that, exactly that. But it's going to be a free update sometime soon, we hope.
Amazing, man. I can't wait to see what that's going to be like, because doing it all under one roof is going to change the game.
So our first ever prototype, like I'm talking within the first week that we started programming, it had that feature and almost nothing else. Just so you know where our head's at. I can pull it up. There's a video where you see, we call it loop fitter, because it fits loops into form. Basically, you would say, I want 5 bars of 4/4, and I want a sequence of 3/16 notes on the kicks, and I want a bar of 7/8 on the snares. It would basically be like a rhythmic free-for-all. And then it would just go through the permutations until it finishes the long form. So if you said 5 bars of 4/4, whatever happens, it would cycle that. But you could also go for just play this thing forever, even if it takes 50 bars for it to land on you know, like a fresh start. That's also there. So just so you know where our head's at, like when we started, we always go for what would be an extreme use case for this, and then kind of doing stress tests like that, I guess, conceptual stress tests. Sometimes it's things that don't necessarily end up being the MVP of a product, but it does kind of draw a border around it. So you know, like what are the far like edges, let's call it, that we're aiming at.
Got you, man. It's awesome that you've gone to that point with it first, because it means as we have these ideas, it's not like, great idea, can't do it. It was like, and that's why I was actually really surprised when I started asking these questions, and you were like, yeah, this was the first thing we could do, and everything else has come in to make it usable and lead up to that point. I was like, this is amazing. This is not, I was not expecting that as an answer. So, but yeah, as you can see, this is probably a little bit of an eyesore. So I'm gonna focus on these modules for now. That we had the hands-only stuff we used, and it's in my user area because that's how I built it. But you would find these presets inside. And don't forget, if you're interested in picking up a copy of this, there are 5 free copies to grab today. Sign up to the mailing list. The link you can find if you type into my Twitch or YouTube chat. If you go !Beat Scholar, or you just wait for the link to come up, modalics.com/downloads. Just pop your email in, and you'll get put into a draw to win 1 of 5 copies of this, and then you could be playing with it today, literally straight afterwards. It's !Beat Scholar. So what I have is to have a bit of fun. It's either you can look at the modular element, or you can have patterns made for you. And this is just to show you kind of the process of how you even come up with patterns. If you don't mind, or I'll just show a process of showing modules that then become patterns, and kind of the mentality behind the process, and then we'll start throwing some music on top of it.
Sure, I'm here.
Amazing. Right, so I've got chill, medium, and mega. Like sparser groups of notes, more complex groups of notes, very fast complex groups of notes. So I'm going to go with medium for now. So what we've got is things that can last any amount of notes, from 2 notes to 3 notes, 4 notes, 5 notes, 6 notes, and I'm talking general lengths of the whole thing. We're not really slicing up the pizzas here because we're just trying to kind of apply this exciting mentality. So what that sounds like, if it's a 6-note pattern with this particular module, so that will just keep running around. We turn the hands back on and we get... Now, where these become useful in music making is where we switch between them on the fly and we start coming up with new sounding things. So what Or and EL actually put into this at my request was to add this quantized value for switching patterns down to the 16th or 32nd note length, and that was released in an update not long ago because it was just, and this is what's made this possible. And again, I was like, yo, you really want me to have fun with this, don't you? So with 116 selected, when I click on one of these, or if I play the note for one of these, because you'll notice that each one of these, I'll zoom it in a little bit, each one of these has a note that it assigns to it. You can basically switch between them on the fly, and what that will sound like is this. This is with me clicking. Clicking is obviously the graphical element is going to be the least accurate of any way to play it. The MIDI notes would always be superior. But for example, I'm just going to start clicking on these patterns at random. You might start to see how powerful this is from just seeing that. And I think my favorite part about it is that 4 should just sound like this. But if I want to do, 8 of those, then do one other thing and then go back to doing another 8, once I push it out, it will stay out until it gets new information or it restarts. It will stay displaced. And that's the thing I find so magical about this, because that's what something like this needs to have. So I'm going to try and do it. And again, I play this kind of stuff a lot, so I have a bit more of a capability to make this stuff on the fly. But this is just kind of a cool visual demonstration. But this might not be so usable for you because clicking in time is going to be part of the limitation. But just to show you what's happening in my head when I'm trying to make this stuff on the fly, I'm going to be counting to 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. but I clicked off time. But the idea was it was meant to go and then it would just keep rolling out. But it's quite complex to kind of come up with that stuff just by yourself. So what I intend to do with things like this, you can do this at any moment that you want. If I just go ahead and start making experiment 1 and I decide I want to do something like that, we'll make this, we'll just replicate exactly what we were doing, 4 notes, of which we've got 127 velocity kicks. Duplicate, and then I'll go to the bars mode so that I can blow this up and keep going. 5, 6, 7, 8, and then on the 9th time, we'll do that. And now, you don't have to play it. And to me, that is just magic, like proper magic, to be able to just do that wherever you want and just have some fun with it. So, you know, it's a rhythmic basis to think about what these could be melodically, and to have little moments of nuggets of time or like cool note movements that you might enjoy, that you can think of it the other way around. It's, let's say you're jamming on the guitar and you just really like the idea of like a particular series of notes in general, like say, I mean, I'm kind of basing a bit of writing in C because it's the easy thing for a keyboardist to do, but we're in MIDI, we can transpose any way we want. But like, if we had that as like a group of notes and we wanted to play around with that, well, we'll go into normal MIDI mode. And then I can go ahead and do my normal thing of just, you know, duplicating that pattern out. This is easier to do than most things. We can also add, you know, extra things to that, but this will sound very one-dimensional because it's just being played on the fly. But if I pop some key switches on, open, mute. I know these key switches kind of by heart at this point, just because I use this plugin all the time. This will sound in terms of like if we were trying to come up with an idea, there's not much you can do with that, but it's a starting point to just think about what would a 5/16 pattern like that sound like if we were mucking around with it. Well, then the answer is we go ahead and start afresh, delete all the bars. We can go, if we're trying to make a drum part of that, we could have and then that's it. And now and we're rolling straight away. We obviously create each one of these lines as we come up with it, but if we were to then just think conceptually and want to have maybe an alternate pattern, like for example, just as 2 groups of 3 notes. And then we'll have this ability to have those notes kind of, you know, develop and move forward. So we could start to imagine the idea of what that would sound like and visualize it by have and then maybe at this point we can have ourselves a 6/16 bar that goes dun 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 dun, and then we can start to hear what the drums of that would sound like just on their own. We'll put these back on and and then it's just a matter of marrying up the MIDI match that. But we've got a rhythmic basis for it, so we can start to really have something. And if it's just a matter of wanting to hear the feet, we can just record it out and then find the loop point, pull it onto the drums, and then go nuts with that, or loop it wherever we want. Maybe we'll just do it every probably we would want it to run for longer, so we could have just left it recording, to be fair. But if I know where the loop point is, da-da-dun, da-dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun. I believe that would be the loop point at that point then. Maybe it's not. It's one of those things that's easier to let the plugin just roll and pick it. This is what I mean. It's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to imagine. Let's let it work it out. So now I'm gonna commit to a 4-bar long pattern, and now Beat Scholar won't do anything. I'm just gonna let the kick drums be played by that, and then I've got my MIDI for the one part of the idea. I could have recorded this my own way, so I know that that's happening every 3 times. And then we've got this. We've also got to focus on key switches because I've gone there. But this could be da dun da da dun, and then I'll cut that after that note. We're now piecemealing this together, but at least we've had a starting point. And at this point, we can then cut that into place, loop it out, cut the end off, and we have a riff. Copy it onto the bass. It's really cool how possible it is for that kind of stuff to just exist very quickly and to come together and to be inspired by the sound of what we want to do, basically. So yeah, this is
absolutely nasty.
Yeah, it's just so it works with the way my brain wants to make this kind of music, and it opens up possibilities. I'm totally stoked on the ideas of how these can be, you know, worked with melodically, and I'm really curious to see how you would use this, or in terms of taking a series of kick drums and then doing something melodic with it. What would your workflow look like for trying something like that?
It's interesting. For me, like even when playing bass, it's always about I'm always enamored by the mechanics. So each sort of grouping of notes is attached. Like, that's the way I feel it. Like, it's attached to a movement, sort of a dance, right? So if I'm playing slap bass, so I would have a movement of 4. And I can show something, maybe.
Yeah, do it. I'd love to see, like, musically what's going on in your head, and we can look at that and see what's happening.
Oh, you don't want to see that.
Oh.
So see my beautiful Dingwall bass over here.
Yes. Killing it.
So, is it coming through?
Yeah, I hear that perfectly. You all hear that? Hey, Drew. Yada.
I'm just gonna guess that. Just gonna imagine that everything's all right. So let's say my entire technique works in a way that makes a lot of sense with Beat Scholar, because let's say a group of 4 notes would be a movement like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a group of 3 notes would be 1, 2, 3. So I would actually practice and come up with things based on combining these movements together in a way very similar to what you were showing right now, that you were grouping groups of 3 and 2 and 4, and then kind of snipping them at a certain point to create a riff. So if I were to cycle the movement of 4 and 3 together, it would result in like a 7 movement. It would sound like. And when I would practice these things, I would always have is now like your hands preset, which would be something pretty straightforward with like a backbeat. And then I would really enjoy the sound of it permutating against a steady backbeat of 4/4. And I think that that's kind of a brilliant way to develop a good sense of rhythm, because for me, rhythm is always about like being able to quickly identify the music with it, like between two layers. So the interaction between the layer of a steady backbeat and a sort of grouping that rotates on top of it, as many ways as you can learn to hear that. So this 7 pattern, if you write enough music with it, at a certain point, you could just decide that you like the first, you can do 4/3/4. You can just play around with the pieces in any way you like. So that's why I'm really connected to the way you called it modules, because in my playing I always felt like I have these different movement modules, let's call them. And there's 4, a 3, a 2, and then like when I put them together, it just you gain this sense of freedom, and you can just, I don't know. Or so this playing this sort of stuff, that's like why we made Beat Scholar, because Eyal, which is my brilliant partner, which is currently having tons of fun in a synth kind of festival thing in LA, which is super cool. I'm waiting to see what he comes up with and what he takes videos of. What, you went away?
I'm still here. I just realized every time I blow into the microphone, it goes. So I thought I'd throw a pop screen on it real quick.
I thought it wasn't on purpose.
No,
so anyway.
no. Eyal's having lots of fun. I'm having fun too. Bye. I really love that idea. I really like the groove of that. I'm actually tempted to ask you to explain it, and we make it the beginning of something. We write something with that, maybe.
What I just played?
Yeah. Or something just like it. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing, but just something like, so that we can show the world what a modular approach would look like if we were to literally take that. What does that look like because to us that happens in our head, but what I really want to do is help people who don't know how to do that in their head to understand it, go real slow, program it in this, and then watch it go, and then learn from it, and get that process going on,
Right. So lead the way. Like, do you want to?
So that groove you just had. I mean, I was thinking basically all I've got on the screen is the kick module. I was going to start building one, and I love that and the way it displaced. I couldn't actually get my head around exactly what was happening there. So I wondered if you'd maybe either play it again to confirm what it is to yourself, and then just spit, and then we can just, once I know what those modules are, I'll program in the modules, and we'll watch Beat Scholar play along to it.
Let's do it together. Like, I think there's a lot to learn from the process of just talking about it, and also I need the time to figure out myself. So I think it's in 11 or something.
Yeah. What are the modules that don't in a bar by bar down? Yeah.
Let's break it down. So what I said actually correlates perfectly to what I started saying before with what I call like movements. Like so this would be the first movement. 1 E N 2. So 1 2 3 4 5. That's the second one. So.
So that to me it sounds like is that a 4 and a 2 or a 6? 1 2 3 4 5 6. It sounds almost like a 6/16,
and then
what is it, 7? That's it, isn't it? So, but
yeah, exactly what you just.
Oh, this is probably going to be a bit fast.
It's probably a good time to say maybe like burst a bubble where people think that if you play like really intense, complex music, you keep track of all the different measures but it's the exact opposite. When you develop like a sense of freedom with these kind of things, you always kind of figure out later, and sometimes you never ask the question because it just kind of rolls out. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And then you
Yeah.
ask me like, what did you just play? And I'm like, I don't know.
Haha, it just came out, yeah.
I
My
just
the fun I have
piled
is
on
in the
chords.
analysis of it and then turning it into something, committing something, and then setting up a system that we can then start to play around with. We can either do that consciously or unconsciously. I equally love just recording myself going out at it. That's how I'm written most of my stuff. Like my new tune sounds like fun. Most of that was the initial writing of it was just go improvise once round and then analyze it later. But and we just record ourselves.
So I think you put it brilliantly because that's for me that's the best of both worlds because you get like the sense of freedom when you're composing, and then later the act of committing, like you called it, would be to understand really how to put a drum track together to what would otherwise be a cool slap riff or something, and then you really have to understand like where the beats fall and the backbeats are. So by the way, I don't know what you're doing on your screen right now. So I know I said that I prefer to just
Right. Yeah, you said you prefer to not see it, but now you're finding it. You're not
yeah.
able to see it. Have I
Originally,
have I disappeared now in Zoom?
let me see. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool,
great. I
cool,
just want
cool.
to be able to see what you're doing with
Great, awesome. Yeah. So this is what
so
what I was seeing was what do we I was trying to work out what the second half of it would look like in terms of the modules. I think it was maybe it would be this. So like I'm gonna go ahead and go to the hands module. I'm gonna make it into a more like I'm gonna go to potentially my the hands only and go for closed hats and go full time with ghosts because it's more funky. And then we've got uh,
maybe
oh we're in halftime
yeah.
and
I
I've
was
done
just
this
about
in.
to say.
Okay, yeah. So what we need to do instead is change this to 8, and then double the speed of the BPM, just like that. Nope.
Nope. Yeah, it's what you did is yeah, it was right. It's just I think it's a matter of tempo basically. So
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
So this is some of it is right. I think there's like one extra kick drum there. I think the last one might be redundant, but we can keep going. Let's write out the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having fun looking at you.
Yeah. You
Doing
look at me.
great.
You see how I see you. You see how you see
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah.
See I see you.
We can. Okay. All right.
I
You pulled us
absolutely.
out. You pulled us out like a true leader.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love your bass tone as well. It sounds so
Oh,
good. What are
thank you
you
so
actually
much.
using for the amp or the distortion element of that?
Well, this incredible bass. It's quite a. I'm guessing old. I don't know. It's probably 15 years old or something, or 20 years old. It's a Z3, which is just an unbelievably amazing sounding and feeling bass. And I'm running it just through a Darkless Ultra plugin. You know, I think it's the first one they ever made, and they kept improving it, and it's basically
It sounds so good. It sounds so musical as well. Well, I mean, it's a lot of it is how you play that, but it just sounds. It's such a nice mix of clean and spanky and fuzzy, and it's like it's a
Thank
really
you.
really nice mix.
Thank you. It's basically, I don't know how people use bass distortion, but usually I go with like really low mixes, but almost like a I don't know what to call it, but like it's mixed really delicately, but then again it's really loud. So the level is all the way up, but then the blend is really soft. So you kind of get this thin layer of fuzz. I always imagine like it's coating the string, like the distortion is kind of coating the string, but you're still getting a lot of the low end and kind of a healthy growly tone. So
Yeah.
anyway, let me keep going with the riff. So we were at. Let's keep going. Oh, that's kind of a tricky place where it gets.
dun, 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 and then it's the same one again, isn't it? So it's like,
Yeah.
for me that sounds like 6 5 5 and 6.
Yep.
So to answer Metal Paco, we're hearing each other live because we're capturing loopback of our own sound sources and sending that over Zoom, but we can't play together because we're very very far away from each other. Or is in Israel, I'm in England, and the latency is just large because of the speed of light. So we can hear each other and what we do. And if you're curious about how to make a loop back your own stuff and how I do it, I've got a YouTube video out recently on how I do that with my Antelope Audio instances. But Ora is using software loopback on his Mac. I think you're using Soundflower or loopback itself.
I'm using loopback. It's just a quick and easy way to get set up for stuff like this. But your video is amazing, and your setup is like one of the best I've seen.
Man, thank you. I've
guys,
been having a lot of fun with that today. I've been filming more content, and I've got my laptop in front of me that's got every line that's going into this computer that you see is also going there, so I can at any point record a multi-track drum mix, monitor a multi-track drum mix, throw it back between computers, tape record essentially on one machine while manipulating on the other one. And thanks to Cubase 12 having digital licenses now, I can run them both at the same time. I love it. But yeah,
you really have it nailed.
Oh, dude, it's nuts. I had a student over today earlier, and I just he was just playing along to Horcrux by the Amanuensis, and I was like, I just hit 2 buttons, and I just recorded like a full multi-track, full multicam, just like, and he didn't notice. I didn't go around turn on the camera, so there was no red light fever, and I was just like, yeah, I recorded you there. He was like, what? I was like, yeah.
That's the dream. I always think like if I have a studio, it's gonna be always mic'd up and always with cameras rolling and stuff like that. You never know. One of my the bane of my existence is when you're in a studio and really focused about nailing some part, and then you kind of reluctantly give your phone to somebody. It's like, here, take a video of this, and then you're like aware it's being filmed. So this feeling, like, to avoid that would be amazing, and just stay in the moment. So you really did him a solid there.
Yeah, it was great. I just thought, hey, you're liking playing along to this here, and us working on these parts here and now. I absolutely love having cameras up all over the kit, ready to go at a moment's notice, just to have some fun. But yeah, to expand on it with a little bit more on this Metal Paco in my Twitch chat, to say there is a way for a musician, and we're going to explore it in the future. How I've done like Lockdown Lunatics is that a musician has come into my DAW using Cubase's own plugin called VST Live, and I believe it's you find that inside the VST Club, VST Connect it's called, and basically or could be running a little program, and then he can log in, we can become friends, and then I can get his audio stream into my setup, and when he has that enabled, he hears everything in time and then records to it, and then I hear my project time aligned to that round trip latency, plus then I hear his stuff come in time for me. So if I hit a note, it would be like duh, bah, but to him he'd see me play it and hear it happen at the same time. So it's not consecutive, but it does work. And I've got a couple of,
we're gonna do it.
I've got some crazy ideas with Monuments on how to actually play together. We've got this. I've got this mad scientist plan that we're going to try and do like a live stream where we actually like do a multi-track live performance together. I've got this crazy idea we've been testing a little bit. We'll do it one day. I think we were next pandemic we'll do it. Do it for COVID 2025. So but yeah, I love the sound of like that riff, but that doesn't feel like that is doing it.
Yeah, I think like add a kick on the very last beat there.
Yeah.
So it should go like that's where I said it gets tricky. So I'm gonna play it slow, and you can even like kind of try and see with the visuals where it's going. I wish like it would be the easiest if you could play this in the background and I would play to it like you just said. But let me just go really slow here.
Mm-hmm. I've worked out what the problem was.
These are just like the main hits. If I weren't to stop playing, Yeah. Okay. I think you're
Dun,
doing
dun,
right there.
dun, 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 and then we could look at we could do this as a two, as a, you know, because we can look at this as like A, B, B, C. But yes, this is what you're playing. I misunderstood this as to be 5, but it's actually 7. So this is way too fast. So we're gonna take it down to like 100.
Good tempo.
That is. Does that sound like what's happening in your head?
That's, I mean, okay. To be completely honest, this is a part of a song that's already out there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, about to be out there from my band Parsec.
Epic.
But it's
Fuck!
an example.
I love it. I love it.
It's an example of like something fairly standard that I would sit down and play. But yeah, it's when I play it in time, it's so there's a turnaround there, but I kind of let's leave that, put that aside.
It was a cool sounding thing, but the great thing is we have this as a pattern, and if whenever we would want to like muck about with like having the modifier. I mean, I know you say don't do it now, but like if that was something that we were to try and muck around with,
it's just another 7.
Yeah, was it just another 7?
Down.
Right. Okay. So we could do it as like 14.
It's a big 7. It's a 14. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be 14, or we could go to 7, 8, and start splitting up things.
Let's do 7. Let's do 7, 8, and split just to show the people like.
Yeah. Fully.
Capabilities here.
Patrick, nice to see you here. Have a look at what we're doing. This is a lot of fun. Dun 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 dun. Dun. And then just to show dun 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 dun. So that would be it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and this goes on just like once every.
It sounded like 1 every 3 times, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're good at this. You should consider working as something to do with drums.
So what I've got here is I got this is the note A flat 3, and this is note 8th A3. So if I get this up to that, but it's playing the bass as well. So let's not do that. We do one at a time. So that was the first half of that, and then I'll press this here. Oh God, there's another riff there. Well, we go later. But the great. But if I want to like, the point is, I might not want to necessarily always have it be linear, and this is where I feel like we can start to have the strength of this. I'm literally just pressing these MIDI notes and it's selecting these. So like.
Want to point out that the way you're jamming with these patterns is exactly like what we hoped people would do with Beat Scholar, because it's worth showing something cool that every pie, we call it like pizzas, every beat pizzas, it can be like you can put any drum you want on any slice, and it's very kind of powerful in that sense, with the ability to split. To set measures and split each pie into like up to 42 slices and all that.
Yeah.
But then again, this use case where you're just like playing around with a kick drum pattern across like a very steady backbeat, it's basically how so much music works like this exactly.
Yeah, for real.
Where the difference between the verse and the chorus in a song being just like going to the ride cymbal, and then the kick drum plays something extra in another beat or two, and kind of being able to trigger between these patterns and jamming, instead of jamming individual drums, you're like jamming an entire segment. That's like that's something we really hope that people would kind of get to doing. And by the way, we should mention that you have an incredible tutorial. It's like 30 something minute where you go into depths, showing just about everything we're talking about here, but also some really deep dive into your modules. And there's some some patterns in the mega module which are absolutely ridiculous.
They're so nuts, aren't they? The mega ones. Yeah, I mean,
I'm so happy you made those. It's
yeah.
like as soon as I played around with them, I was like, yeah, this one is for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll reiterate what I just said in the chat to Patrick as well. There's a giveaway for Beat Scholar right now. If you haven't got it, jump on that link, join the mailing list, and you could win one of 5 copies on this stream right now. So, and it has my Mike Malian presets in here, all these modules and things. In fact, you're gonna really like this, Patrick, because you've been doing the crap out of Malian Drum Academy. All of the polymetric confidence things are actually in here. I've actually they linked perfectly into my school. We'll continue to build on that. I'm having a lot of fun with this particular thing that we're doing at the moment, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and I'm gonna delete these modules, and then I'm gonna save this now because I'm really liking what we've just been making here. I'm a big fan of having good naming conventions. Stream Jam 1, and then I'd usually like throw a date down, and then I would know like when we did what, because like I do stuff like this all the time, and then I'd forget it, and then I've just called that Stream Jam 1, and it's just, these are just like the kick patterns I came up with. So what I was going to demonstrate with that idea that you were doing, I've made this the no snare that's inside all of my hand modules. So now what we have is the ability to, I'm gonna clear my stuff from the project here. I'm gonna throw stuff much later in the project because I like what Beat Scholar does when it starts from beat 1. I'm changing when I use it, I change my process to leave the beginning open, because I know that when I start from beat 1, it will start wherever I want. The great thing about Beat Scholar is that left to its own devices, if you start at any random bar, it will know how far displaced it is from 4 at this point. And it will every time play from the correct displaced point. Like, and that's the bit that blows my mind. So I'm really enjoying the fact that, you know, if I know I want it to start at the beginning, I'll go from 1. If I want to be surprised, I'll pick a random bar. And I might be in time, it might not be. So why I'm doing this is that this experiment, the way that we can play these kind of polymetric grooves as well is like that the hands can keep that steady 4 just on the hats, but then we can actually put snare drums in here instead. And so we've got these kick and snare, dun 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 ga dun dun ga ga, and that can now be the polymetric process. Dun 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 dun. And you can go to all sorts of different places with like the straight ride beats. What I was thinking that we could actually do here as well, rather than just having straight ride like this. Actually, that's not a ride, that's a crash. I'm not sure what's going on there. That might be a Mikey screw up right there, to be honest. We could do something like ride bells here. And then we could even, oh, I got a cool idea. I got a really cool idea. Let's set this to 4. Ding, 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 ding. And it's like, you know, that would take so much brain power to work out. I mean, it took us a bit to work out that that was the pattern of what we had. But, you know, if I had you in the room with me right now, I would have just gotten you to jam that out to a click. I'd have your bass, and we would just be rolling with it. Next time we do something like this, we can totally set up the remote, getting you into my project. Or if you have audio movers, I don't know if you use that plugin. You could set me up with a quick audio movers link, and I could just record you cleanly into here. You play to a click on your end, just send me the clean bass, and I can just plonk it in. We can go tape style and actually build something. Like, there's a couple of ways.
I think that's like the perfect pitch for the next stream. Should be all about that, of us like building something together and kind of corresponding on the basis of this system. Could be awesome. Yeah, amazing. So, but and I'm really liking that, you know, we now have this variation of that, like with kicks and snares, and then maybe that as that turnaround can then be dun, ga, dun, ga, dun, ga, dun, ga, dun. Now I'm really curious to see what happens on a clipboard level when you press copy. I'm actually going to look at what happens. It's not a Windows clipboard thing, because what I was thinking could be cool is to take these two and put them into the preset of the other one, but I can't really do that. All I can do is go, oh sorry, I just hit F1 twice, that wasn't the right button. New keyboard, still working it out. A kick, and then this would be a kick snare, a kick snare. It's odd. I'm typing on my keyboard and it's playing drums. I have noticed that happens sometimes. Are you supposed to be able to play the instrument while you're typing in? Because like, while you're typing in,
yeah,
that's fairly interesting. It's supposed to.
It's only when you're typing.
No, well, you do know there's like keyboard shortcuts to play the drums, right?
No, I didn't know that.
So ASD and QWE, those rows correlate to the pads.
Okay, I
so
didn't know that.
If you don't have a MIDI keyboard, that's a good.
That's awesome.
No.
But
But it also, like another thing, it also like changes the drum brush. So if you really want to get speedy with Beat Scholar, that's the way you do it. You use your left hand with ASD, QWE, like all these rows of keys, and then you just use the mouse to, you know.
I think it would wreak havoc with my DAW, because as you see, I press S.
No,
instead.
but if you click on the Beat Scholar window, it steals the key commands and everything. So if it's in focus, it's supposed to work.
Oh yeah. Oh crap! That's so awesome.
Yeah, that way.
I had no idea.
I mean, it's my bad. I should have made sure.
I mean, to be fair, I've got the keyboard in front of me, so I'll just.
Yeah, but as you see, like sometimes you can think about it more as like a composition shortcut, because if you want to just type in a drum fill, so instead of just going one by one, you just go WER, and then you get toms.
Right, that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, we're big on key commands on everything.
Yeah, so sick. I just want to show Patrick real quick, because he's going to go nuts for this. I'm going to throw on my, because you'll notice like a lot of this is modular in the sense of why I teach the way I teach, and the lessons are built the way that they are on Malian Drum Academy, which is my teaching website for those of you with Modalics who don't know. I have a whole bunch of lessons dedicated to trying to teach drummers how to play polymetric beats and build up a modular approach actually mechanically on the kit, with a lot of like one-on-one lessons that are recorded in a nice, easy to digest digital manner with live and synchronized transcriptions, and the ability to change camera angles and all sorts of stuff. And these are these patterns in here, kick patterns. Do you recognize these numbers, Patrick, if you're still there? These are literally the wildcard lessons: 7779, 5759, 5759, 57511, and then I've come up with whole new ones that have just been mucking around with the plugin, and they have been as easy to make as when we build them. We'll close the foot one. So this is what they look like as they cycle around. Oh, it would help if I pressed if I armed them. And then I'm going to put this back to 4/4 so we can change on the bar line. This is what my 5759 one sounds like. switches to this one. Y, B, A, D, A, B, A, C, and then on the next bar, and then a variation maybe on the next bar. Click now, 4/4. Then go to this one for the next bar. And there is nothing proprietary about how you make those bars. All you have to do is, once you start making a few too many, you lose a couple of buttons here, but you just click on bars and then you just make new bars, and you just drag this up, and you want that one to be like that, and you want to know what that sounds like, and then you want to know what that would be like with a, with an extra 3 on it. Maybe loop the 3 a couple more times, and then I don't know, do like something ridiculous like a, just like literally anything. You could just literally hit and hope and just see what does that sound like, and this would be the answer. We go out of bar mode, and then this one we've obviously changed the name of it to be like what? Switch to something else, switch back to this. And this quantize button is so important for choosing when that happens. Right there I was clicking on it and letting it set up for the next one. And I actually really love that these are set to certain notes, because it makes me want to I got a MIDI keyboard in front of me, right? And like it's making me want to take the buttons on the front of it and assign those to those notes, so that, and because they're always the same and it's just patterns 1 through onwards, it makes me just want to sit there and just have those buttons always set, ready to go. And then I could literally just make a bunch of patterns based on what's kind of going on in my head, and literally just button mash and just sit there and just go, cool, riff done, and then I'll record out the MIDI of it, and then I'll be like, cool, now I have to go learn that, and that can be me for the next 8 years, and then I'll release another song in 8 years' time.
I really relate to that. I think like music should take at least like close to a decade means it's good.
I wrote my first pieces of music when I met my wife, my wife, and I just released it 2 weeks ago. Or no, last week was it? I can't remember. But yeah, literally sat on it for 8 weeks, continuously tweaking. So I'm living by that motto right now.
Yeah. I mean, music, it doesn't have to be released,
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I've got another tune that I think I'm even more proud of, and it's definitely not out. And I'm going to stop talking about it again, because then I'm going to feel guilty that I haven't finished it.
Hey, if you need some bass playing done,
oh, bro,
I know a guy.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that's going to happen. You bet. When it comes to like jazz fusion-y stuff, bro, if I had to pick any bassist to jump on and do it live, I'd be like, ah. Yeah.
And I'm always up for it, man.
Amazing. No, I'd love to do that, because it's my dream to kind of build up an arsenal of songs and to be able to do like festivals, whatnot, special moments like that, my honest thing, or whatever. But I see Beat Juggernauts asked if that video is going to stay live afterwards. I think that's down to how you have your Modalics channel set up. So if you've had live streams stay online afterwards before, then it should stay online afterwards this time. Yeah, because that's set up on your channel.
It should stay up. I mean, we're doing this thing where we're doing like a stream together. I don't know what to call it, like
a restream, like a multi-stream.
Yeah. But I have it set up exactly in the same way we've had our previous streams, and they were saved.
Amazing. Cool. So yeah, you'll be able to see this, and it will be on my channel as well, and I'm going to make my version of the 30-minute tutorial on how I did all of this live as well on my channel. I just wanted to give you the first week of all the traffic from that video to focus on that. But yeah, I just want people to see what this thing can do, what kind of mad stuff you can create. I'm so stoked to see what would happen when we can do both of these in one instance. So I'm very excited by that, and it just
it's gonna be crazy. I just want to mention that regarding what Beat Juggernaut said, these are all presets that you can get now by downloading Beat Scholar. I mean, if you don't have the trial, you can download it, get the trial, and these presets are there for your, you don't have to watch the video to enjoy them. You can just go ahead and download Beat Scholar, and you you can see the folders here. There's the full kit examples, and then there's the modules. You can use the 30-something minute tutorial that Mike did, which again is one of the most incredible videos we could have hoped that anybody would do with Beat Scholar. And really, he goes into really deep detail as to what these different modules have and what they sound like and how to use them. So
it's a really fun video. Do you have a link handy to it, actually, the one that's on your channel at the moment? Let's throw that in the chats, and let's let them save that for later. Because I spent a long time actually putting all the chapters out so that you could easily jump to the bit you want. But the general, the very quick TLDR version is full kit examples for the thing that's too hard to ever come up with in the first place. Ow, my brain. And then modules for tiny little pieces of riffs that you can trade around, and then modular patterns for some of these that have been pre-made. And then the fun thing is about those as well is that there are then in the patterns kick and snare patterns as well, which have snares in various points as part of the polymeter. So there's just so much you could do, and you could very easily accidentally create the same grooves that I've been teaching on my website by just literally using these, because these are literally exercises that I've created to try and help drummers get used to what the sound of these is as they displace, either non-stop looping all the way around until they naturally come around again, or at like 2-bar cuts, 4-bar cuts, and 8-bar cuts of like how long it goes. And you said you've got that loop fitter that's going to come in, and that's basically a concept that I've been using as well, in that we've I got to turn punch in off as well. That kept bugging me when I pressed play. But essentially it would be like, what you can do is just click on this again as it's playing, or press C3, and it will start again when the next quantized value comes around. So for 4/4, if I wanted it to be 2 bars, I press play. Oh, it sounds like I've got the snares on the hands as well. We want to go to the no snare version because we've got snares in here now. So I would just click on this during the 2nd bar, and then it will come back around. I'm going to click on it now. Click now, and it will happen in 4 now. Or I could let it go for the first bar, 2nd bar, let it keep going, 3, then 4. I'm going to click now, and it will loop back around. Because that's how this music tends to actually get used. But you can either do that on the fly, or it is as simple as just hit record and let it be as long as you want it to be. And then you can just cut it at that point, glue them together. You've now got MIDI. You can turn these off, and there you go. That's now ready to be thrown into your song and do whatever you want with it. And like this takes a long time to program. This takes a long time to think through what this is. You don't need to do that anymore. And the sky is the limit with what you create with it now. It's balls in your court, my friends. You can have some fun with that. Hey, I see that that link's just there. I'm gonna plonk that myself in my chat and throw that in. And I'm going to pin that up on the Twitch chat as well, so you can see that. So just that's the version that is on Modalics channel. My one will go up live soon as well. And just save it for later, or keep it open in another window. Have a look at it if you're interested in it. Especially if you win one of the copies of this and you want to immediately know what you're doing with that, because as we say, all of these presets are included within this plugin. It's all literally there. Artists, Mike Mallion. And here it is. Yeah, here it all is. I mean, you'll see that I've got it down here as well, because this is where I built it from. But you'll see it up here. So yeah, you can have some fun with that for sure. Yeah. Speaking of, how has the giveaway gone so far? How many entries have you actually received now? Have a lot of people hitting the email link and typing giveaway into your chat?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Actually,
amazing.
Like a decent amount. I've been fairly focused on watching you and what you were doing, but I've taken note of what hopefully there's some people that are already in the newsletter but they don't have a copy, so I told them to just, again, I'm gonna say it here, just type giveaway in the chat, and I'll immediately just enter you into the. Make sure to stay tuned to your. I don't know. I'll probably inbox some of you via YouTube. Those of you that have like a different name, because I don't have a way of knowing it. Like if your name is RCA Duck, I don't know what are you registered as in our backend, in our server. But anyway, I'll get to it soon, and I'll pull up 5 names of people from the few dozen that signed up, and hopefully, you guys will enjoy it, and I'll be able to make some beautiful, weird, amazing music with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to show everyone real quick. I actually just want to show you how exactly to do that. So I'm going to bring this up on my screen real quick. So this is where that link's taking you to, the Beat Scholar website. And then it's this: subscribe for updates and sales to learn about what they're making. Type in your email address in here, click join, and you will be contacted if you win one of the 5 copies that are being given away on this stream. It's going to happen off stream. It's going to happen afterwards. So yeah, Patrick, you want to be clicking on modalics.com/downloads, and go in there. Oh yeah, you've been there, you've done that. That's cool. If any of you who are here and you just want to see, you want a chance to win a copy of this, then just go ahead and put your email in there, see what happens. You are going to want to know what Modalics is making. You are going to be so excited by what they're doing with their next arpeggiator. I am. Ever since I saw what you were capable of making, man, I've just been like so inspired by the concepts of what you're doing. I think it's at the beginning of a really beautiful journey, a really unique approach to making music, and I'm all for it. I'm literally all for it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and like sign up for updates myself. Like, you're gonna tell me anyway, but I just joined the mailing list. Don't give me a copy, please.
Yeah.
I've got one.
Don't worry.
I've got one.
There's
Don't give it to someone who hasn't got it.
Yeah. I might actually have to take back the copy, the license that I gave you, because we don't want people like you having licenses floating around. Anyway. I'm getting like prompts on my phone, so I'm like, you actually signed up.
Yeah,
That's
yep.
cool.
I just signed up. I signed up.
Actually, our newsletters are few and far apart, but we make sure to pack them with like cool information. Like your beautiful tutorial video went out to thousands of people that were very happy with it. We're not one of those companies to kind of blast it every day, so we make sure for it to be informative, and we frequently, as you said, we frequently release updates, and we add features, and we're really attentive. We also have a beautiful Discord server with some incredible talent.
How can we show people where that is so that they can see what kind of a cool community
I'll post. Let me post a link, and everybody's welcome. Like Eyal and I are constantly there, answering any questions, and it's just, we're so humbled by the interest that people are showing in our products, and we're basically trying to carve out our own approach and our own way in this kind of pro audio producer plugin market. It's fairly.
Oh, you can change the color there. I didn't even know that. That's so sick. I just noticed. I was just showing everyone how active the Discord is, and how many people are talking about Beat Scholar and what they're doing and everything. It's another great Discord community. So please do consider jumping in there and then learning more about it as you go, because it's I love seeing an amazingly attentive and engaged community about something that people are genuinely really passionate about. It's just such a sick thing.
So I'm putting the Discord invite in the chat.
Amazing.
And
is that on your YouTube channel you're posting that then?
I just put it up on yours, but
okay.
I'll put it on mine as well.
Cool.
So yeah, like I said before, we're about to release a new plugin, and we have upgrades for Beat Scholar, like stuff you wouldn't believe, coming up, including multi-layered samples and a huge upgrade to the sampler. We're also working on the, having what we discussed before in a single instance, just having polymetrics going on. And we, since the early stages, we saw Beat Scholar as sort of a platform, a new way to compose rhythm was sort of the subheading, and we looked for something that, I know it sounds kind of pompous, I don't know, like grandiose, but then again, like, we really feel there's something here that we can rotate later. Like when we get, our dream would be to have like a composition suite, so a place where you would compose music in this very kind of visual friendly way, and by that, like, gaining access to really deep concepts in music making, whether it be like writing beautifully complex harmonies with voicings that you otherwise wouldn't have access to, or writing quintuplets and septuplets within the same bar, and the bar is 7/8, and just by playing around with these things and not kind of putting them behind these barred doors of like you have to learn music theory in order to engage with these concepts and stuff like that. We really feel like there's sort of a language kind of being built with our products, and we're trying to tell this story. We're trying to, hopefully be in a place where in a couple of years there's like our way to compose music, and there's a community of people that are committed to this way. And that's kind of our vision, our dream for what we're doing. And this kind of baby steps going forward. That's why we're putting so much effort into improving Beat Scholar. We didn't want it to be just out there and then move on to the next thing. We really believe that maintaining, communicating with our users and improving and listening to them is like a crucial part of just building this confidence that we're here to stay, and we're here to do like cool stuff that people will enjoy, hopefully. So
man, you are fired up about this, and this is a beautiful journey that you're on. I'm now learning what the scope is, what the long-term vision is. I guess I already was loving what you were already doing, but what you're doing with that is incredible. I've got to say as well, thank you so much, Mr. Woodchuck, for throwing those 100 bits in there and enjoying this. This is very appreciated. Thank you for coming on in and saying hi. It's good to see you. This has been the idea of that you can have the compositional suite. My mind started just exploding with ideas. I mean, I'm thinking of things like, what if you can input a set of chord patterns, which the arpeggiator that can then go through on the degrees that I've seen that it can do, that can then link into the pattern that Beat Scholar is throwing in rhythmically, that you can just input all of this information and just have so much fun with.
You should say that, because both these plugins, their engines are kind of similar in a sense. You could create this connection right now, like in your DAW, by tweaking the ARP settings with the Beat Scholar settings. Let's get into that once the plugin is released. I don't want to talk too much about something that I can't really show and go into depth.
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm super stoked on that, because I've seen a little bit of the functionality of the beta version of that arpeggiator, and I'm like I'm about to be on tour for like a month and a half with Monuments, touring around supporting Leprous, and I'm going to not have a keyboard in front of me, and I'm going to want to make music, and I'm actually getting really excited about the idea of making stuff with this in lieu of having a keyboard of any kind. I'm actually starting to realize that I might actually, for the first time ever, be able to compose without having the ability to input it, because I can imagine it, and this might actually be a new way of me not even needing a control surface of any kind. I'm starting to actually get it keeps happening with you, man. I keep realizing that I can do so much more with what you're making, and it's like, damn it, this is incredible. Like, how is this happening? I love this.
Yeah, I just want to say that your excitement and it's a huge accolade for us. It's like it brings us joy that musicians and people of your skill and talent are really vibing with us, and you're resonating with the ideas that we're putting out there. So Eyal and I are always in this sort of I don't want to say like echo chamber is like a bad thing, right? So but we are in a creative space where it's just the two of us trying to riff and come up with things that we find useful and exciting at the same time. There's sort of this dichotomy that we need to maintain, that we don't want to make things that we're not really excited about. So having somebody like you come up and say, this is actually good, this is actually exciting, I'm looking forward to it, it just gives us like a huge burst of energy, and it lets us kind of feel at ease for a while, that we can keep doing what we're doing, and people out there will buy into it and resonate with it, and yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, just making music with the stuff. I mean, yeah, it's amazing. It's 2 for 2. It's completely reciprocated, because as my stream and my channels will know, I don't engage into any kind of brand affiliation or sponsorship with anyone that I'm not like so sold by the idea of, that I'm like reaching out to them and being like, hey, I want to actually help show people this thing. Like, I'm actually so stoked on your idea that like more people need to know about this. Can I help? Like, that's my vibe every single time. So that's the only kind of like collaboration that I'm really interested in, because it's like we're making music better for doing it. Like, we're actually, like, the MO is to like make better music, have more fun making music, feel less challenged, have a community in which you can make stuff and have people listen to your stuff and just, you know, like listen to other people's tunes, weigh in on it, and have a vibe of being like, we're not alone in doing this. It's the overarching theme of why I started streaming when COVID hit. You know, that was it. I was lonely. I wanted to make music with my friends, and we did it together. We, you know, we made some of the nuttiest stuff over the last 2 years, and I'm sure tools like this are just going to be like reached in for in, you know, lots of different ways. I've had riffs by numbers made by chat before. You know, it would be easy to run it as an experiment. Like I would say, like it's so easy to do. It would be so easy to do in Beat Scholar that I'm this confident that it would be this easy. That I'm gonna go ahead and delete everything, and I'm gonna just tell everyone in chat to type in a number. Everyone just type in numbers. Just go numbers. Give me numbers, any amount. And what I'm gonna do is, oh, Woodchuck's cheer just came through on my overlay. That was strange. I'm gonna open up a notepad and I'm just gonna write these down as they come in. Throw them to me. Let's see what happens. Just
I'm also gonna write the number.
Do it. I'm looking at both chats and I'm just going for it. 9. I'm not gonna put in 100 from the 100 bits, but like 7, 17, another 9. Try to keep them under 17 if you can. Let's try not to like have things. Let's go for numbers between 1 and 10. I've got a 9, a 17, and 19, and you know what? Can I break up the 17 to a few smaller ones? Okay, no, screw it. We got 15 there. Got another 9. You got for 23. I'm gonna put it in, but no more of those because it's gonna take forever to get around it. Okay, there's an 8, a 2, a 3, a 3. One more from either side. Oh, there was a 5 on my end. Okay, cool. There we go. There's the numbers. We got here's gonna be the pattern. It's gonna be nuts. No, we would never come up with this. I would never be able to do this chat experiment. And you know, I'd be really curious to see you know, how we can do other stuff like this. Let's just start like having blank ones. We'll just go. This is literally the process. This is all it's going to be. We'll go 9, 7, and all of these in 16ths, 17. This is a real stress test, isn't it? Of like what it can do. And the great thing is, you know, it can do it.
The machine will work.
Yeah, you know it will do it.
Yeah, but you would have to like zoom in to really get stuff done. Not that it's a problem, but
yeah, we can do that.
Ideally you would break it down to.
You would, but we can do this. You can't tell me what you can't tell me what to do.
I'm trying to be brave, but I can't. I'm too much of a chicken.
Well, there is a zoom button. Just you already put it in. You can you've given me the ability to zoom in. So 2, 3, 3.
Yeah, there's also a zoom shortcut, of course.
Oh, is there? Amazing.
Yeah, I think. Are you on a trackpad or?
No, I'm on a mouse.
So you can hold Control and use your mouse wheel. I think.
That's a vertical zoom.
Vertically, and I think if you do it with Alt, you would get horizontal zoom.
Alt is not doing that. It's just going forwards and backwards. Hey, thank you so much for this Prime sub. Boop toot. I appreciate you.
I don't know my own product. It's embarrassing.
So and I'm gonna click and drag. I am just gonna go ahead and I'm just literally clicking and dragging. It's a riff by number. We could come up with other sub numbers to have made what this riff is, but this is just an example of what happens when you're on a.
You know what's funny? I always compared like composing with Beat Scholar to like freehand drawing.
Yeah.
You just go around with your pen, just noodling things while you're talking on the phone. So that's.
The problem with the 23s and this is that we've kind of just dragged on all the numbers as they were. But if we were to have like, you know, processes to these where it would always start on da da da. And then it would develop outwards from there, you know, then we would have that. And then here we are. I can just go ahead and press turn this on, and we would hear it. The only question is, other hands, do they have snares or not? Because if they don't have snares, we'll put full time with ghosts. Off we go. This is your riff, my friends. Enjoy it. here's where it starts really making use of those accents. Dun, 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 dun. So I would have to actually respect that convention of like starting it again with something new there, dun, 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 and then dun, 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 and then continuing from there. Because otherwise, I was just kind of just randomly clicking and dragging, dun, 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 and then whatever we want it to be. And now everything starts with the same opening. Chat core. I love that. Okay. This is chat core. And now let's take it. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there, friends. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna hit record.
I got a suggestion for mine.
And then on that, sorry. And you were trying to say something the moment I pressed play there, right?
Just to interrupt, you know, and make noise with my face.
Uh-huh.
I was just about to say that how about we do something like a drum fill, because I think that might be a cool thing to show, because we've been kind of focusing on actual music, but drum fills are where the fun is at.
100%. I haven't actually made any with this yet. I just wanted to show how fun it would be if I just took the kicks and put them on a note. It's just like you made that by numbers. Like that was us. We got into this one together, and now
It's the advent of chatcore.
Yeah, this is the advent of chatcore. Let's bring it up a bit as well. Let's like
That's the name of this episode.
and also you know we can get into cooler things as well that you can do with stuff like this in general. I'm not gonna glue it because I actually still want my feet and my hands. And remember, I named the MIDI tracks. And because I've recorded those individual MIDI tracks, I've got my feet and my hands. They're separate. It's easy to tell what's what. And like this is where I love getting into like what things like Cubase can do is like we can just click legato and now every note is full length. At that point, we could then take that, throw it on the bass in this moment, and then manipulate the guitars to have to do this with a different voicing. We can give it a full blown the full Misha power chord. I've gone ahead and done a sharp instead of and then we can throw the crab core down pick only on that whole segment, and it ends randomly at that point. And now we've got that as a gent riff. So there's something that we can do. We can let's use this as something that we'll like cut up and we'll make it loop every like 8 or 16 bars, and then we'll throw a fill in. But to answer Mr. Woodchuck, you've been using Pro Tools for the last few years. You're debating a move to Cubase this year. How is the learning curve on Cubase? It's hard for me to explain that because I've used Cubase since Cubasis 3 VST. Like I've been using it for forever. So for me, it's a second language, and Pro Tools is painful and hard for me to use. But I think it's as easy to get into as any other would allow you to. I really like that the processes kind of feel like they're natural, and to me it feels like a pretty decent way forwards. If you're a part of any of my communities, like my Discord or whatever, and you get Cubase and you have problems with any particular thing, it's like all programs. 90% of the journey is made in understanding what the program's unique terminology of a particular function is. So like you want to do a certain thing, you'll be writing in a term for it, and that term won't be the same as what's in the manual, therefore you won't be able to find it. And then once you get there, once you've got the term, then you start finding all the options. But making that leap between there is what communities are great for. I've actually found ChatGPT to be quite useful for that as well, although I've gotten a lot of false information. It's quite cool to just go in there and be like, but how do I do this very vague idea in this program? And it sometimes, more often than not, spits out the correct answer, which is nuts. But it's sometimes told me, go to settings, preferences, and do that. And I'm like, that's not there. Where did you get that info from? So, monthly subscriptions for DAWs can get in the bin, but Cubase is never going to do that. And the new licensing system is great. No more dongle. I'm running multiple copies on multiple machines. It's so sick.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's done. They still have the licensing for certain products, but they're moving away one at a time. So, but anyways, you want to see a drum fill? I want to learn to do a drum fill. I haven't done this yet, so this is a first for me. I actually purposefully didn't do this yet because I wanted there to be something live for this stream that we didn't do.
Let me take my hand. Let's do this together.
Well, so this would be easier if to make inside of a riff. This would be easier if I didn't have the two things going on, because I would have to turn one off to then put everything in one. It would just because if I were to have it going from playing the riff, hands on one, feet on the other, and then the fill would take over on one of them, the other one I would have to put it onto a mute cycle. So in this sense, I'm just gonna write it later on. I'm just gonna make a fill all of its own. And I'm going to go modular with the fill as well, because that's how I write my fills. Mr. Woodchuck, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs as well. That's so kind of you, my friend. I really appreciate that. All the best to you. That is so kind.
We can take this opportunity to show something cool, which is shift dragging patterns out of Beat Scholar itself.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
We could just plop it in on the timeline. So if you just open a new pattern, maybe just for the sake of having it like decent, you could do it on the hands instance.
Yeah. Well, I've got the feet set up ready to go here, and I'll just turn on the one that I want to have. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. So just switch to patterns mode on the right side menu. Where it says,
I'll just get out of this. And
just open a new one, and just to show something cool, go to the new pattern you just made.
Yeah.
Set it up to be 1/4. And also delete all the lanes but one. So just leave one big circle on screen.
One big circle.
Yeah. So hold the number 8 on your keyboard and press the circle.
Okay.
So this would be 30-second notes.
Okay, got you.
Right. So just for the sake of the demo, you can later just do it in whatever way you want. Just you can use the key commands ASD and QWE. So the two rows correlate to the lines to the drum pads, basically. Yeah, and you can color in your drum fill and just have this sort of special artifact.
Yeah, I see. Okay, there we go. That is a no input way is totally different. I hadn't actually done that process because I've just been hitting and hoping with that. That's really cool that we can do that. The way my brain works though is I would want this to be a pi of 9 notes, and I would want it to last 9/16 notes, and I want it to displace. Therefore, if I use pies, it will always, if I, I've just gotten rid of it. I'll click the undo button. I think it's Control and up. This will always be 9 notes. Will take up a quarter note. I couldn't make this go. Not in
that way, but I was just if you want a sequence of 9 notes. That's another thing. But if you just want a 30-second note fill that's quick in 2 parts, this is a really easy way to get it going. And then you can just shift and drag out the pattern into your timeline and just put it in wherever you want. It just exports MIDI. You don't have to record the MIDI for it.
So I was just holding down shift and dragging from... Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, there it is.
It just turns into a MIDI event.
Yeah, but it's done that thing that we were talking about... where it's I need to turn that setting off. I can't remember what it was that EL had me change. That it's a Cubase particular bug. I think it was in the MIDI.
It changes the measure.
Oh, what was it? It was ignore master track events on merge. That was it.
Yeah.
I've actually been really liking that because I've always wanted that. I wanted to bring in MIDI files with tempo information and it actually work, and I just thought it was impossible. So now if I do that and go here, now I've got it, and it's made 2 of them at once. I think I just clicked on it twice. But yeah, then then it's a Cubase bug that doesn't work the way you want it to, and I know you're working on Cubase is being told the information it needs and it's not getting it. So it's an interesting thing that we worked out.
That's all right. So the main thing is like we have an event ready to go. So you can do.
Oh, but I'm playing it live and playing the MIDI of it, so I will pull this onto my Gojira drums. Yeah.
Exactly. You get this beautiful thing
to
play around with.
It's really cool. It's a great way of getting it in like immediate. It's very cool that it can exist like that. The way I still feel like this is the way that my brain wants it to work. Louis, yeah, you're just joining us. You're going to absolutely love this plugin. Do yourself a favor, click on that Modalics downloads link, pop your email in there and get into the giveaway for this. They're giving away 5 copies of this. It now has my presets in for like crazy polymetric stuff. There's a big YouTube video on how to do all of this, like a half-an-hour video. We've been going over it for a while. Like you're gonna have a lot of fun writing with this. It's so much fun. Lags, thank you so much for the 4-month sub. I appreciate you so much. You're an absolute champ. This is how I want to write this. This is just how my brain wants this to go. So I'm boxing myself in here. I'm dragging this up, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make 2. I could give myself 2, or I could give myself 3. I can do this because I know that 2 things are gonna happen at the same time. Mr. Woodchuck, thank you for another 5 gifted subs. You absolute champion. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, my friend. You are very much always welcome here, my friend. Thank you. We are going ahead and having a look at what this would sound like if we. I know that this is my ride bell here. I'm going to turn on this instance and get it running through. So this is just going to be for my cymbals over the top, but this we're going to use, and I'm going to use the key commands here as well. We're going to go kick, tom, 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 kick, kick, and then we'll make another one which will go snare, kick, tom, tom, kick, kick. I do this all the time in my head in terms of like putting things that together here and making it happen. It's a lot of fun. So we'll lock to the bars here, and then what we're gonna do is put some consecutive hits here, just crashes here, right? I'm gonna just do them at the beginning, and this I play this fill a lot. Like this is a real Malian fill. So what we'll do is I'll move into the bars point, and then we'll just use different permutations of this. We basically think about this as our 6-note A and our 6-note B. If I were to do another bar and I go ahead and copy this one and I'll paste it in here, then I'll make this a 5, and then I'll make a B of that. Kick, snare kick, tom, tom, kick, and then now we'll have like the 6, the 6, and then the 5 and the 5, and then you'll hear what that sounds like. And then what I'm hoping to do is to at some point to be able to click and drag these bars around. That's one functionality I'm officially requesting, because I like the idea of like really like mixing and matching these, but it doesn't particularly matter because I can do this by doing by basically taking each bar of this and doing it instead in.
So you can copy paste between patterns, but also between instances of Beat Scholar. So that's
got you. Yeah.
So just a cool little trick to know.
Yeah.
We're well aware that there's some editing features that are still, you know, they still need to be developed, and we are working with everybody in our community to nail those down, including rearranging patterns, rearranging the order of bars.
Yeah.
There's certain editing features that we're coming to think that it's time to
It's gonna be wicked. The only reason I make it out is because I know you're so committed to making them happening. So what I've just done manually in the interim is I've just copied out those bars. I shouldn't have made it in this mode in the first place, but now I've got these as my 4 patterns. So this is gonna be, as I said, 6A, and this is all just down to how much you know, time and energy you're willing to like map things out with. But once you do modular things like this once and you save them as presets, you've got them forever. Yo, thank you so much for the subs that have just come in as well. Death for the sub, the 2 months. Malignant, Carolina coming in with 100 bits. Chili Toy replays. Oh no, the bot is come in late today. I see what's happened. That hasn't all just happened. My bot is being drunk. So, but either way, I'll say it again. Thank you all so much for your support. So now, if we go back to 16th note stuff, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to make my keyboard go up so that I find the notes to play this. Turn on key switch feet. Here it is. So these are going to be my notes. And then my goal is going to be to go A to B to A to B, choosing different numbers. Like we could make some more up. So for me, I'm going to be going this one to that one to that one to that one. Because this one should... Oh, I haven't saved the correct one. Yeah, so kick, snare, and then just picking the right ones. So if I'm going between them, remember I can interrupt this at any point as well. So we can go ahead and... Whoa, what's happening with the bot right now? The bot is going nuts. Sorry, the Stream Elements bot seems to be posting the same message on absolute repeat. I'm gonna have to... I can't like... Do I have to like... Sorry,
No, that's fine.
It stopped. That's never happened before. Stream Elements just sent the same follow message like 100 times in a row. It's never done that before. Okay, back to making music. So that's the goal. I'm basically cycling between these, and then I'm just gonna be recording the MIDI of key switch feet here, just pressing these notes basically at random, these 4 notes. And then sometimes when you press them a bit off point, it will make these doubles, but all you have to do is quantize that information, and then we'll get rid of that and we'll play it back. And occasionally you'll just fall into some patterns that you'll really like the sound of, and then you can go ahead and hit record of that. And then the way my brain would work is I would want to be doing something like this where I just cut it at literally any point, and I then have my new bar of fill. That's what I'm aiming to do. Is all I wanted was that singular bar there. So then we'll go, and we've got this, you know, this chat-led beat that we've had, and on the 8th bar, I'll throw that fill in, and then what we can do is we can go even nuts with this and just mute what was going on in the riff, and then have it continue at the point where it already was, and now it will sound like this. Oh, sorry, the feet was going over the top as well. And we're now, I mean, it's a little bit hit and hope, but we have made some fills. But this is just one way that we can make stuff like that. So things that I learned from that process was that, like, I can make that modular approach happen, but if I wanted to just make some cool sounding fills that weren't so nuts, and they were just, you know, because a lot of the time we actually do want to have just fun fills, you know, we can totally go ahead and, without having to remake anything, we could just kind of like do the approach that Or was saying. We can also do some really cool metric modulations. I just had a really cool idea. Let's go for 8 and then just 7 because we can. 6, 5, and then make another bar. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going, and we're just gonna have some fun going like doing what you said, where we're choosing drums and like ga ga dun 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 dun. So that's snares, kicks, tom kicks. So, and I'm gonna go to a part of the beat where nothing's going on, and we'll press play. And then we'll keep it going with like versions of that. Toms, kicks, tom, and then a single kick. So we're using the same idea: snares to kicks to toms, the snares.
You want to see something cool?
Yeah.
So another kind of secret key command thing. You can use the arrows. Just hold left or right on and hover over any pizza.
The arrows.
And left or right arrow and hover over a pizza and just click it. And it rotates the pizza.
Oh my god! Are you kidding?
No.
Of course you're not. Dude.
Yeah, but also there's mirroring and it works on an entire lane. So click the lane arrow.
Yeah.
And the entire lane will rotate. Click left or right, just hold left or right.
Excuse me. Oh my god.
So you get like permutations if you're not happy with how the fill rotates over there.
You just blew my mind. And okay,
if you hold the down arrow, it mirrors the all the pizzas. They'll be flipped. The down arrow just causes mirroring.
That's so sick.
So you could basically duplicate like 6 fills and just press, right a couple times, then mirror them.
This one I could just rotate these bits and we'd have. I mean, these aren't going to rotate because there's no mirroring capable. But then I could do this one and then I could hold down and just click on all of them and it would mirror them. And now we've got permutations of all of them. That was nuts. Okay. And yes, Mr. Woodchuck, you can change velocities. Alt clicking and dragging up and down changes the velocity. You can also change the insert velocity similarly to how Cubase can by just typing in a number here, and then what you click will also come on in. What other velocity methods are there in terms of like general velocity management? Other key commands, like little secret hidden velocity things that I might not know about, or.
So you basically covered them.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because I remember I was talking about maybe doing a thing where we can do global velocities at some point in the future.
What we would like to have is like standard lasso functions where you can just click and drag and select an area and then operate velocity on the area. There's also like copy pasting is very helpful in that. So if you manage like a certain, you do like per slice velocity and then you can just hold C and click a pizza and then hold V and paste it to wherever you want.
That's sick.
Sorry.
That's okay. No worries. Yeah, that's
yeah, it's something that happens when you talk for like
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's Gabba's delight. I love it.
Exactly.
So like I don't know what this sounds like. I need to hear it. This was always meant to cycle downwards, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into the bars of it. I'm gonna delete the second and the fourth so that we can just hear like what it was meant to be, which was. Marco Miniman and Virgil Donati are gonna have a field day with that, I tell you. But dude, you just blew my mind with like holding down left and rotating these. Like I'm just like, you know what you could do? Yeah. You could do so much with that. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Woodchuck, if you've got the, if you're up for throwing an email into the gauntlet, into the mailing list, you may well find yourself with a free copy anyway. So keep an eye out on your email if you do that.
We can also show the randomizer if it's not taking you too.
I haven't played with the randomizer yet because I've been. You showed me it a bit, and I knew what my MO was with making the presets. I am now ready to play with this thing.
This was like one of the most requested features, which is the randomizer. So it's basically an alternate mode. Let's. There are presets if you press where it says init over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are rides.
Yeah, you have kind of presets that are set up so you can kind of learn how it works. So you pick.
Yeah.
Just random one, but let's make our own. Let's make a preset that plays a drum fill exactly in the same way.
Okay.
So let's start from scratch.
Yeah.
Just set it up as an init preset.
In it.
Yeah. So on the left side, you can see the sampler pads are turned off. So you can just activate whichever ones you want to partake in the drum fill.
Okay.
There's
Okay. Cool. So
snare,
just toms.
and
Kick, snare, toms. Yeah.
Cool. Now from left to right, I'll just do it with you. There's drum selection, which basically correlates with what we just did. We don't need to touch that. It just needs to stay on. And beat slicing, which is where we want to, if we want the same kind of thing to happen, we want to do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we want to have all of them kind of marked up, right? So this means that the randomizer will consider all these different slices when it generates the pattern. So you can also show that you can there's like pages to the left and right of the slice
you can
pads.
go all the way up to
All the way
45
to
slice.
42.
Yeah.
There's one preset called Russian Roulette where I did like standard slices and then 142. And once in a while you get like a crazy machine gun.
Yeah. That's
so
amazing. Let's
the
do it.
next
Wait,
one-
I'm gonna take up the ante, and it's gonna be like a Russian roulette element of 45 is gonna be in there.
But you will see, like, it's funny. We should adjust like the percentage. There's a strong chance that you will get like 345s or something like that.
Okay.
But anyway, no, keep it. I don't mind. So the next model is pretty interesting. So it has step triggering on and off, and then trigger chance, which basically, as it sounds, just the chance that a note will be on. And then there's fill empty, which we can get into that later. It basically means whether you want for new notes to be generated every time or for just the empty slices to be filled. Right,
Sick.
So you can kind of keep what you liked about what you did. And then spacing, which is a pretty cool feature, which offsets the chance that a note would be triggered by a certain value. So that means if you want a bunch of notes clustered, then nothing, and then a bunch of clustered notes, you can play around with the spacing, or do vice versa. Like you can have like no spacing whatsoever, and then everything will be triggered really close together, like it will offset the trigger chance. So it would be, when a note is triggered, it would most definitely play another note subsequently, right?
Yes.
I hope that.
So we would probably want like 70% with a mid range of spacing for a fill, wouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's perfect. And then velocity range, which, as it sounds, will trigger velocity values between the two values presented.
So this is a good thing for me to just go on this and just have.
You can click and drag also, and drag across.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Obviously, we wouldn't do more than one of these at once. But oh, look, there we go. We got one.
Yeah.
We might not want all of these at once, but yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll go back to this so that we can get rid of it, and we'll just listen to what this one sounds like.
So
I love that.
this was not the best demo of the randomizer, but
no, but like how do we have it so we have no empty notes? Then what's the spacing?
so you
for
can
no empty
have the
notes?
spacing on minimum, or just have it centered and the trigger chance on 100%.
Okay,
and
cool.
then
So
it will
and
fill everything up.
yeah, and then like instead let's just we don't want we always want fours, and I'm just gonna make loads of bars essentially. I'm just gonna get.
You can do 4s and 8s.
Yeah. We could have 4s and 8s. Maybe
just
throw
click
in
the
some.
lane arrow.
Maybe throw some.
just
Oh
click-
yeah, we just click on the lane arrow. Yeah, and now we get.
Then I think you have a splash mapped to one of the toms or something, so it's kind
Oh,
of funny.
interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice that was happening. Oh yeah, G2. It's not supposed to be that. This isn't how it's not how it was intended to be. But it might be an old version of the kit preset that's made it through. I'm not sure.
fine. It's
Or
good
it's
to
from another thing because we initialized probably.
No, but it's cool to show. Now we're getting into the area of what we were manually doing before, and we just made a preset that will generate an infinite number of these versions.
Yep. I like the idea of maybe having, just using 4s and 8s, then. I prefer the idea of just like sticking to like just sixes and then just rocking with that. So sick, like such an awesome linear fill. We could throw hats in there as well, and then we can have some serious.
Oh, check something out. Like, just keep kick, snare, and hats, and yeah, and now just click the lane arrow once, and keep 4. I'm sorry, just
Yeah.
just keep 4 slots.
Louis, yeah, like I'm not using the Beat Scholar sampler. I'm using Gojira. This could be MIDI outing to anything. This is just a sequencer. Like it has a sampler, but I'm not using the sampler here. We're using archetype. Sorry, not archetype. We're using mixed wave Gojira. You could just have this going into any modular synth system. You could do anything with this. So yeah, you want to just kick, snares, and hats. Like, we could also have a bigger velocity range, and then like
You can generate like linear drum beats.
yeah, you could, and then again we can throw the trigger chance down, and then we can have more spacing. We could. This is another idea we could do. Just having kick and snare with more of an empty trigger chance, so with just a little bit of humanization. Then on BS hands, I mean, we wouldn't need to do this because we wouldn't need to use 2 instances for this actually. So we could just get rid of the randomizer. Yeah, let's screw that off and just use this the way it's supposed to be used, and just go yeah, just throw some like you know, ride cymbals on that, and now we've got this as a beat. Change that to 2, control click to have that, and then here we could even go on the randomizer and just, for this, ride only, 2 always, and then just always trigger, but just get some random velocities going on, or random bells as well. But on that, maybe always the same velocity. Turn that spacing up and see what happens. This is so sick. This is the traditional usage of what Beat Scholar can do, and this isn't. I jumped so in such a niche process of just making presets that this is actually the first time I'm using it in, like, you know, some of the ways that you intended. That randomizer, it's different when I watch you do it, and now that I'm doing it myself, it's very sick. And again, as you were saying, right, to get this into the DAW now, I just shift click from A, and there it is. It's just there. Now, the way I've got it is that these are MIDI tracks that are playing Gojira drums, so I would then turn off that track. So now we're just working with the MIDI, and now we literally have that as, and if we like it, we can work with it. We can do what we want to do with that. And then so yeah, but the way, Louis, that I have this set up is that I've got 2 different Beat Scholars because I was doing things to create like polymetric kick cycles that isn't polymetric on the hands, and I've done that using 2 different instances. So, you know, this was, and these are actually presets that I've created, and they now come with the plugin. This is the feet one, so I'll throw one of my feet only patterns over. I know we've for those who've already seen it, this might be, you know, seeing the same thing again, but for those who are recently joining us, in BS feet, I'll choose one of my kick patterns here, my kick pattern preset, and then in the hands I'll go for like my straight open hat beats, and I've got a few options here that I've named. Full time with ghosting is a really fun one to work with, and then you've got different patterns I've made up here, and you'll see what this does here. I'm going to turn these on. switching it around. Having it on the 16th note means you can click around, and you can even play these patterns. I've got another MIDI track, and I'm pressing MIDI keys now, and I'm changing. You know, we could totally just hijack this with kick drums, always on 1, with a trigger chance of like 65, and just click on that, and now we've got a new beat. But question, how do you randomize only 1 bar at a time in this? Do you just click on here? Or is it like only on the pie or only on the track, but not on the bar?
Well, like I said, we're working on...
No, yeah, I'm not meaning to just necessarily put you on the spot. I was just curious because I'm applying this in a whole new way now, you know?
No, in all seriousness, I'm perfectly comfortable with everything we don't have.
Yeah.
We do have. There's, in product development, you know, generally, there's kind of, you know, a process of saying, okay, we need to get this done for this product to be viable, and then we'll do it in updates.
Oh, I'm 100%
the randomizer
with you,
is still kind of new, and we're still getting input from people about like how they like to use it. So yeah, we actually, it's interesting. We want to do like where you can randomize an entire like an entire pattern, but that would require locking drums into lanes, and that's something that, if you guys noticed by now, our drums are not locked into lanes. It's this kind of free-form playground where you can place any drum anywhere you want. But we do want to deepen the randomizer workflow and also kind of improve editing and do like what I said about having lasso action. So you can randomize with lasso. So basically click the drag and
so sick.
just randomize like 3 pizzas across 3 lanes or something like that.
Yeah, and I've just literally made new ones each time, and I've just done this, and now I can just go ahead and... But these, I've done it all in 4/4, so that's why it's happening very slowly. These were all meant to be 16 notes, and I did that wrong to start with. I love that you can just go to minims as well and just do that. But yeah, this was me setting it up wrong. But yeah, it's cool. Like when you've got a lot of capability and a lot of lateral thinking happening, you can just do so many different random things. And now I'm pressing random notes correlating. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I wasn't going to do that. And because I'm clicking whenever I want, I can then start displacing this. And then here I am just pressing random notes. And if you want to write riffs like this, exactly, Louis, that's exactly what is happening. The hats is just doing this. Oh god, there was a fill underneath there. I was like, what's going on?
That sounded amazing though.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous.
Incredible.
Yeah, I always find a way to sneak bleed in somewhere. Yeah, I just had to give Louis a little catch up with what that was all about, because he's been around in the stream for a very long time, and I needed him to see that. But this is so ridiculous, isn't it?
It's good to show, because every time you show it, you kind of focus on a different aspect of it, so it's pretty cool.
It's just like the songwriting process. It's like a train was coming right at the end. Yeah, the Mario Duplantier ride is very much just like I've never thought of that as that like. Oh, I love that. Oh, there's so much stuff you could do with this. Every time I play with this, I just have so much fun. It's just awesome. It wins, man. Like you win at music.
Nah. Well, I'll take it. It's a lot of hard work, but yeah, it's we try to do something that that we would be interested in playing with. I found myself like, it was crazy. I was making presets not for the product. I would just, if I had like time to kill, I would sit and make presets, but it wasn't like for the product. It was just because it was so much fun to do that. So you can even just browse through without even playing them, because it's not set up like that. But if you browse through the presets, you will see that like there's such a variety in our artists. So every artist kind of saw something different in Beat Scholar. Like the way that's what's fascinating about like your folder as opposed to others. So
yeah, I mean, there's so many other examples in there. There's like, the things that are in there. I had a bit of a browse through, and I was like, holy crap, this is nuts. Like, there's some really, really, really fun stuff here. I mean, like, and like, I have my drum layout, right, that I use, that I really like the sound of and everything. And the thing I hadn't tried was to lock my layout, which is locked to my that I've mapped to my own MIDI module, and then to start going through some of these other patterns and just seeing what they sound like. This is something I haven't done because I hadn't made use of that lock button, but because you get the Malian drum layout when you open a Malian drum, a Mike Malian preset, you can then lock that in, and if you know what my MIDI mapping is, it's similar to GM. There's a YouTube video I've done on it. This will now be everyone else's patterns, but with Mario Duplantier. And if you like different layouts for your GGD, your favorite hybrid setups, or like different kinds of drum kits, you can save them, lock them, and then open any other preset and work with your MIDI. Sorry, I've got my fill behind there. That's the only thing.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. I was like, that doesn't sound like what I'm looking at. I'm gonna do the Cubase trick. If you're still with us, we have a great thing, Mr. Woodchuck, that you can see here, where like you can put your locators around things, and then you can just press Control-Shift-E and stuff. You can just enter silence really easily, so you can quickly get space at the beginning of a project. It's really good. I don't know what the limitation is to how many lanes you can have. What is the limitation here? 16 lanes. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And 10 out of 10 for having an undo button, by the way. Too many.
Yeah, and most actions are undoable. Like we're really keen on having a robust undo and redo system and something like this.
I love that. I was doing similar things like that in my Ghost nodes.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of these were designed with very electronic kind of.
This is meant to be up here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so in the built-in sampler is worth mentioning. The built-in sampler for Beat Scholar is currently set up to to follow more of the electronic drum paradigm, like 808s and stuff, and 707.
It's still playing. Wild? It's still playing the thing, isn't it? Hang on, let me just disconnect that so that we're actually just hearing the sound of it. Yeah, show me. Now we're listening to what Beat Scholar's own sound bank now. Yeah, I've just and for those who didn't see it, I've just gone to enable sampler and I've turned that back on. So now we're just listening to the sounds that this plugin makes rather than using my drums.
If you open the presets and go to electronic, there's one called Intruders Must Perish, which is like my.
I should probably slow this down a bit.
Slow it down to 100.
Okay, 100.
Yeah. Basically,
so sick.
A showcase of like just composing an entire track in Beat Scholar just using the built-in sampler.
Have you there's something I also wanted to mention, and this is just ideas all the time, but like have you got plans for an auto scroll at any point that to be zoomed in and it just keep kind of moving forwards? Because that's something
Yeah.
I've dreamt for a few times. I'd love to see.
Yeah, auto scroll. We want to do customizing colors and drum categories. There's all sorts of quality of life. There's just so much to do between the sequences.
Oh, I'm sure there's an infinite amount. I see what some of these chambered.
But it's perfectly like I love it that you keep coming up with like these ideas and ways this could be better. Like we're definitely not afraid of that. Like we're
so cool.
Like we're hoping that people care enough to kind of send.
I am curious to see what happens if I do take some of these funk ideas, turn off the sampler, connect it back up to not my guitars. I could do that, but we're not going to do that.
It would be wild to send this into guitars.
Yeah, we literally could as well. Like that's kind of the nuts. You know what? We talked about trying that, and I feel like there's only so many things you should do on one stream. But I am actually curious to see what would happen if we did that and just like made riffs and just chose notes.
Yeah, it would be just craziness.
I'm gonna let the intrusive thoughts win today. We'll do it. We'll do it to guitars. And then what we'll do is we'll then maybe it'll work if we have. Oh no, it has to be an actual MIDI track to send it through to the bass as well. So we will only get it to one at a time. No, that's not true. We can disconnect it and we can just do MIDI sends here and send it to Odin 2. And
I have a vision that this won't result in music that's worth the effort.
I disagree.
But we're so committed to the process that we have to see the other end of this.
We have to, yeah. Now we have to learn what is this going to do, because this is what I've been really curious about as well.
No, but we could actually make it work if you create a preset with the kit that's mapped to a scale, like a pentatonic scale or whatever. It would be fine because it would just it would throw around notes in very interesting rhythms.
Yeah. So if we hit. So now what we just need to do is work out why that's not making any noise, because I was sending it to both of these events, but that wasn't working. So the question is, what does work? Is that actually playing anything, or am I just not hearing anything? Because these notes should be functioning. What am I doing wrong here? Odin 2 MIDI input. And then the big question is this even seeing MIDI from that? It should be. Oh, it's not. That's really weird that it's not even receiving anything. It should be. That's a Cubase bug, or I'm not thinking this through properly. Odin 2 MIDI input. That's where you'd want it to go, wouldn't it be?
You'd want to set up the MIDI input for Odin to receive MIDI from Beat Scholar.
Yeah. So Beat Scholar's spitting it out into the input of.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing a very blurred image, so I can't read what's going on.
There we go. I did the other way around. Now it's just always going to play because of the way I've set it up. I've got no control over if it plays or not.
Right.
But that's okay. We can go in it, and then we can just have one line, and then we'll. What we can do is just make a quick scale out of this, but I'm clicking and dragging, and it's very sensitive, so it's kind of hard.
We're gonna do double click and
heck yeah. You're way ahead of all of these ideas, but these don't have to be chromatic. We could do minor pentatonic, for example.
Yeah, you could also do 5 or 6 notes. Just I'll do. You want to do everything and just scroll presets?
I didn't think about doing that.
That would be nuts.
That would be fucking mental. Holy shit! Yeah. Why'd you say that?
I don't know, man. I want to go all in.
Yeah. Well, now we're doing it. I was gonna just use the randomizer, but but I'm gonna start with using the randomizer.
This is the exact time for bad ideas.
Yeah, what kind of note groupings do we want to give us? Well, let's start. Let's low immediate thoughts, and then we just need to have the drum selection of all, but not all. We wanted to. We want to lose these ones. Oh, but when map is on, we can't click on them, and I was using map to tell what
In addition.
Let's rotate the whole thing, because I'm hearing that, you know, we can. I like the sound of these. Click left and rotate. We could do something nuts, like, I see what you're saying, Louis, about if you copy that to a drum track, you could do something nuts. But what we would probably want instead, I'm going to do a little bit of, I'm going to do something that Beat Scholar can't do, but Cubase can do. Guitars to kicks, it's going to be called. And what we're going to do, I don't know if you know about this, but we're going to use the transformer. This is basically a programmer for MIDI. If a type is equal to a note, then set the value of the note, set to fixed value to be, for example, C1. If any note is played, it becomes a kick drum. And then what we do is we can send BS hands, or no, guitars to kicks could be fed by BS hands and can then output to Gojira drums. That should now, oh, it's on channel 2, that's why it's not working. Now, any note is now a kick. This is the opposite way round to what I was envisioning, where, but this is the riff maker. So now if we go trigger chance is now low. Whenever any note happens of anything in a minor pentatonic, a bit faster because it sounds. But what I was thinking of was I was trying to do hands with that. Instead, I'll use feet. It'll be named wrong. Actually, what we've got is BS riffs, and now it's BS riffs and kicks, and then BS feet becomes BS cymbals. In this instance, this is some mad scientist moment that we are actually seeing some stuff happen in the flesh.
This is the part that I will replay after this.
Yeah, this is where we get really into it. So then we're into BS feet. We'll rename it there as well. BS cymbals. Oh, we can do this tidier the next time we try it. But this will be BS riffs and kicks, and then we can just change. We could literally just write presets for different scales, and then we're just good to go. BS cymbals. We want to then open that up, go in here, and then hey, no, we're gonna go to the artists, Mike Mallion, modules, hands only, and we'll go full time with ghosts, because why the fuck not? And now we've got ghosts all the times, and then this is our riff builder. And then just as long as this takes the input from BS cymbals and sends it out to Gojira. Let's have enough randomness so we can have whatever notes, 4 bars of randomness.
open another lane.
Okay. Another lane.
Let's see what happens if we go polyphonic.
Oh, that's a really cool idea.
It would probably.
Random bass notes. Oh. We had a MIDI note on that never turned off there. Drummer Rick, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, Drummer Rick. My name's Mike Malley and I play drums for the band Monuments. I'm here with my good friend Orr and we're checking out his amazing plugin, Beat Scholar. We've been playing with this for ages. This whole VOD's gonna stay live on my YouTube. We're making this do melodic stuff now. Or I was just thinking maybe instead of this, maybe we make another Beat Scholar and that does the bass and that does this instead. Because I haven't worked out yet a way to make the bass happen here, but like, but I would have.
There's a way to like.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're gonna work out a way later to have like better routing. Also.
Oh, like different MIDI outputs for different lanes.
Yeah, so you could use the same instance. To
oh, that would be so sick! Oh my god, I never even thought of that. I mean, I just yeah, it sometimes hangs a MIDI note on, but
yeah, so it's a matter of if it's triggered. So there is when you use the sampler, we have one shot.
Yeah.
That would mean that then the note is always in the length that it's specified by the pizzas. But now you're using an external instrument, so
yeah. We're into crazy world here. But I just absolutely love it. And what I was doing as I was clicking around was I was also seeing, because I know that note length is now denoted by this as well. That's why I chose like 4s and 1s.
That shows something cool. Click fill empty.
Oh yeah, click fill empty. Yeah, and now we could do stuff like random groups of 8 in the gaps.
Yeah, wherever.
Oh no, hang on.
Wait.
Did I do that right?
Yeah, because you had just 8 clicked. So you would have to turn off slicing. Sorry, my bad. Turn off
slicing. Okay, cool. Oh, hang on. No. Oh, I didn't have fill empty turned on there.
Yeah, and just turn off slicing. There we go. So now it's just,
And now it's just filling in the gaps, yeah.
Slicing kept randomizing what was going on.
And like, and this is how easy it is to save presets. It's all file based. So I'm gonna go scales, and then I'm just gonna go minor pentatonic, and oh look at that! Looks like we're building a new preset pack today. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Drummer Rick. Please, everyone, do give Drummer Rick a follow. That's odd, but yeah, it's Twitch has been a bit odd. Stream Elements has been a bit odd today, but yeah, if I were to then make a new thing, we could go for like Phrygian dominant or something like I'm having to audiate it because I can't quite remember what notes are.
Dude, I don't know anything, so
you know, you're ridiculous. Shut your mouth. You're great. And then we'll just turn these ones off because I just want one octave of that, and then. It's so cool what this thing can do. It's just, but again, just for clarification, it doing kicks and guitars at the same time is only made possible through me making an extra piece of MIDI magic using this transformer, which literally says, if the type is equal to a note, then make the note value a C1, and then I've run that in parallel. So that's a bit of Cubase magic for you. I've done a lot of things with this, like added extra kick drum keys, like make so I can have A, B, and C, and I've just gone, if it's A, make it a B, and then the sequence is like, cool, it's a B, I don't care. It's a very cool piece of technology to have built into a DAW, but yeah, to lay down rhythm guitars, yeah, it's super easy. And then we can take that to another level. I can run in parallel, just look for the key. I can't remember what octaves I'm on here, but like there are key switches for guitar. The only problem is that I have the guitar is an instrument track. It's only being fed by the Beat Scholar thing, so my key switches aren't working. So I'll use this key switch feat. Will actually now be it will just pipe out directly to the Odin instance, and then technically those are just 2 notes as well that I'm cycling between. So I just realized we're getting into some serious key switches and notes. We weren't expecting this to work for notes, in the first place. But if I were to do this, or I was to do this, and then I were to just pick these and make these notes, I think it was what was it? It was D flat -1 and F -1. It might be different notes. I'd have to go into Odin and take a quick peek just to remind myself of what the key switch is. Yeah, it was -1. I remembered so much. Yeah. Take care of yourself, buddy. All the best. Have a great day. Let's do F -1, and then on the randomizer, guess which notes we're gonna pick. Oh, I just changed the note. Let's undo that. I clicked and dragged.
We really have to improve that.
Oh, it's all good. Oh, but it's gonna make kick drums happen.
Yeah.
I'd have to do unless it's that. Yeah. So at this point we kind of fall flat on it. But if we go back to beat slicing and we have it trigger chance always to make a decision about what that is. That should be doing more than it's doing.
How so?
It should be doing key switches now. It should be making it open and muted. It's not, and that's just because I've probably picked the wrong notes. There you go. It was E0 for some reason. The notes were different. C. So here we go. It's F for downstrokes only. So yeah, your eventual development of adding MIDI outputs to these is gonna be nuts for what you can do.
Honestly, currently if you open the preset menu, there's what is it called, MIDI channel. So I think the default is 1, but if you put any, which is the first option, it automatically maps the 16 drum pads into 16 separate channels.
Right. So then this
sort of a hack at this moment. We have a lot of people asking about that. So this is some
right. Yeah. The interesting thing is guitars to kicks is only listening to 1, but it's still hearing kicks on those, I think. It's listening to channel 1. Oh, it might be just because I'm doing something pretty nuts with the MIDI, to be fair, at this point. I don't really understand.
I can't help you with
that's
the way you have things set up right now. If we did it from scratch, we could have gone through a process which resulted.
We've just been really going in on the stress testing of it. It's just been this has been so much fun. I mean, it's just so many
uncharted territory.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever done something like this with Beat Scholar. I did send it to create some crazy synth sequences and stuff like that, but I've never tried, configuring kicks
yeah.
and
Well, you've
guitar
made
riff.
something that can do that. So you're now learning what the thing is capable of doing. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
teaching me about my own plugin, which is great.
Well, that's the sign that you've made something that's truly great. Is that you can learn from it. That's the testament. That's the takeaway from this. You're learning, that you're seeing what that can do. And I'll relay back to something as a little bit of an overarching theme to everything I'm doing lately. It's thanks to Mick Gordon that I realized this now, is that he dropped so many knowledge bombs on Monuments when he worked with us on that latest album. And one of the things he said in one of the chats that I'll never ever forget was that, like, technology wants you to follow a path, the path of least resistance, and that path combined with your default things has a sound that by default you will never ever break out of if you don't change something about it. And it's very hard to change how you do what you do internally. It's much easier to respond to new stimuli. So by trying plugins like this with these modifiers, things like just to bring this back on screen for a second, things like this idea of holding down the left arrow key and clicking and rotating every note around the pie, or holding down bottom and mirroring. One of these things, just one of them, is enough to add one tiny modifier, and you don't have to change a single bit of your entire process, and your outcome is now different. It is now not the path of least resistance. You've added resistance to the path, therefore you have changed the outcome. And as long as you change something each time, your output will always be different. Your results will never be stagnant. You'll be inspired more of the time, and you'll never get bored of your music again, because you'll always change something. It's too much to do on us. And these tools and the power of tools like this is just, it cannot be overstated. As long as you remember what Mick taught me, which I'm passing on to you, because everyone should know that. Change your process to change the outcome. Remember that we like things to stay the way that they are, because that's how our brains work. But we've got tools now. They can do whatever the hell we want with this, and just my hat really does go off to you. I tip my hat to thee for what an incredibly awesome piece of technology. I'm going to be writing on the road so much more. I'm so glad we did this. I've learned so much more than I thought I was going to here. I guess I was I walked into this with a completely open mind, and now I'm not thinking about buying a MIDI controller on tour. I'm literally, I think in my head, I've just scratched out a £300 purchase of like a little Roly keys thing, because I don't feel like I need to input, because I've got this. Any instrument I got on my laptop, I just don't need the input anymore, because I'm curious to see what would happen if the music is entirely written through these things like the rotators and everything. Like I didn't know that was there. Like now I'm sold. Like I was sold already.
Glad, I'm glad I could surprise you a little bit.
So
in face of all the things that require improvement. But thank you. That's beautifully said. And Mick is brilliant. And yeah, what he said, I'm a true believer in challenging yourself, but in a way that kind of brings back the playfulness in composing music and doing like creative endeavors like developing products. And excuse me, there's also something beautiful to be said about the relationship between developers and musicians. I always see like this relationship being that artists in general, they take like whatever tools you produce and then they use them in kind of the wrong ways. You know what I mean? So they would poke holes in a speaker, or they would overload an amp, or they would do something like take a technology and push it to the extreme until it fails. And in that failure, something beautiful happens. It's this sort of implosion where, it's a big bang. So there's a lot of creativity being poured out, and then there's a hard limit at some point. And the most amazing feeling, like for us as people that make these tools, is to take that limitation and kind of open it up, kind of burst that seam into this entire different world. So that's what we want to do for people with Beat Scholar and with Eon ARP and whatever products we make, is to find out where the edge cases are, to find out where people have hit that wall, and then kind of create this entire new world for them to kind of find the limitations of again. And this is a reciprocal process that I feel has been happening for years. Even the development of instruments like the piano is basically the same concept. of people wanting, you know, some sort of organizing system that would be whatever global. There's always a relationship. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, and I think what we did just now is a microcosm of that, in a sense, where you were exploring and looking for the farthest reaches of what you could achieve with Beat Scholar, and I was like playing the developer part, sitting there and going, yeah, we should do this and that, and you know, kind of seeing where you're reaching your hand, and then how can I sort of provide what you need to exemplify your vision. So
sick, man. Like it's such a deep concept. It goes so much deeper than I realized, and I'm all for it. And there's so much I want to explore now, so much more. My horizons feel definitely opened up, and in ways I wasn't expecting. I need to just make sure that whatever modular system I put into a system like this has a purpose, so that I don't let the machines make random stuff for me. I remember that there is an element of humanity needed in terms of building something with emotional structure, and if I do spit out something random that I love, it is then my job as the arranger to learn what does that make me feel like, and then to leverage its feeling against the next or prior idea. What is it? How can I build up to that? How can I build away from it? And then make things like that happen. It's like I feel like I'm a kid in a candy store looking at an entirely new way of making music in essentially what is on a tour bus airplane mode, where you have no internet and no elbow room. And those two things, it's a huge limitation to what fucking music you can make, and it makes you not want to bother at all, honestly. But I feel like I might give it more of a go. Like I know you'll never make an Android app, because Android for audio ecosystems is a dumpster fire. But that's on me to get rid of my tablet and buy an iPad instead, and then hope for one day something like that on the fucking iPad as well and shit. You know, like
we are actively working. I can announce that kind of. We are actively working on. It wouldn't be a port. We'd try to get as much of the features kind of translated directly with a good touch interface experience, but we are actively working on iOS port, mainly for the iPad. If we ever release something for mobile phones, it would have to be a sort of trimmed down version. But yeah, we also see the power of like having handoff capabilities, where you make a beat on the train with Beat Scholar, you go home, you open, you boot up your PC, and then whatever you worked on is there. We have the infra to make stuff like that happen. You can make like quintuplet beats anywhere.
Sometimes you don't realize you're in the good old days until they've passed. But right now, I feel like I'm in the good old days. Like I literally, like there's no limitation to where that can go with the tenacity that you guys have. It's so awesome. It's a pleasure to be a part of it, man. Seriously, I'm not just saying it. It's so sick. I'm sure like everyone who's still been hanging out this whole time in the chats on my end, and your own fans will again agree that like this is seriously special. You're on a what we call in England. You're on a bit of I don't know what there's not a politically correct term for that. I'm gonna stop myself. The intrusive thoughts have to stop, because
you gotta be careful.
It doesn't have negative connotations, but I just realized the word has parallel meanings, let's say. But you've gone nuts with it, and it's amazing. You've really gone off on one, and then it's just gonna keep it going, and it's so sick. I'm just gonna keep making stuff with it.
I just want to thank the people that join us, really, and you're wonderful. I've been reading up on the chat comments, and people have been really engaging and saying nice things about Beat Scholar. It's super cool. After this stream, as Mike said before, I'm gonna pick 5 winners, contact you guys, and give you licenses of Beat Scholar. Please tag us in whatever it is you're doing with it. Ask us questions, join our Discord. We have this beautiful community. We post updates ahead of time over there. We have a beta group, which is currently quite full, but we take applications constantly. So if you're into all this nerdy VST, virtual instrument programming stuff, or you just want to shoot the shit about anything, just join us, and we're very open. We answer like within minutes. It's sort of right now. Eyal actually is in LA and I'm in Israel, so we have reverse time. So basically, there at any given moment, one of us is up and answering people, and it kind of turned it as this 24/7 thing for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love it when people reach out to us. So feel free to do that.
Yeah, please do. These guys are the real deal. Please just remember, last opportunity before we wrap up today. If you want to win potentially a copy of this software, Modalics are being amazing and giving away 5 copies of this software. All you have to do is go to modalics.com/downloads. The link is there, pinned at the top of my Twitch chat, and I've just popped it in the chat again. Just pop your email on that list there. I'll show you once more how to do that. This is it. When you go to that page, you just pop your email in here, and you'll be able to just be contacted if you want a copy after the stream at some point, or it's gonna hook you up with that. And it's an amazing plugin. It's and the functionality it sounds like you're gonna bring to this is nuts, dude. And all those updates are going to be free updates. You'll get all of my presets involved. Again, you're getting a full pack of example beats. You're then getting the hands and the feet modules in various different ways. There's a 30-minute tutorial video about that on Modalics channel, and I'm going to release the same video on my channel very soon, and then you'll be able to see that. If you're a subscriber of mine on YouTube anyway, you'll see that video pop up in your feed soon. If you get the plugin, have a look at that tutorial, how I use it, but play around with all the different functionalities. The sky is really the limit with this thing. Shouting out Modalics channel 100%. Do you have a Twitch channel for Modalics at the moment, or is it just YouTube?
Not yet. I mean, it's worth saying that we're a brand new company. We launched this last September, so we're still getting, coming to terms with being a company and what it means for us. We currently, we're up on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. We have a booming Instagram page, actually. Like, it's doing really well. Like,
amazing. I'll have to. I haven't followed up on that. I'll do that. Carolina's very kindly just popped in the Modalics YouTube link into the Twitch chat there. So please, subscribe over there. This journey that they're on, the products they're bringing out are gonna be there to help you do things in a way that you might not be expecting. Like, I just learned a whole bunch. You just watch my mind get blown by something that I've literally put in about 20 to 30 hours in on creating this preset packs and learning it, and my whole understanding the plugin just got flipped. And I don't remember the last time something did that to me. That's a new experience. So that right back at you with that one.
Awesome,
and to the awesome people that you've got fostered in your channel that I've had a separate chat open of the Modalics live stream, and I just want to say thank you to all of you for being so supportive forever. I've been seeing you, RCA, Darren and Aaron, Beat Juggernauts, Jace, all your comments as you've gone along. They've been really nice to just follow along and see what you've been saying, and to my regulars as well over on Twitch and YouTube, just thank you so much. And also drummer Rick's crew for coming in for that raid and hanging out for a while as well. It's so sick to have you hang out for a little bit. I am going to be going on tour very soon, so streaming is probably going to be, if anything, it's going to be IRL stuff from all around Europe. My band Monuments is supporting Leprous around Europe for a while now. Hopefully going to be offering on-tour lessons, but definitely going to be doing cool things. You can see a full list of dates at thisismonuments.co. I want to meet as many of you as I can while I'm out on the road. I'm going to do what I can. Be releasing a lot of new content from my website as well, Malian Drum Academy, where I teach progressive drum education. And I have the Discord that's tied in on here. You can keep in touch there, but I'm keeping an eye on all my socials. You'll hear about various cool things going on. But as far as a nice, slow-paced live stream from my wonderful home studio, this will probably be the last one until the end of March. So for those of you who've hung out for this, this is a thing that I've loved doing since the pandemic and starting to do live streaming. Thank you for being around. Thank you for supporting. This is a joy to do, to have an ability to hang out with a mate and make music together with all of you. It's a beautiful thing, and onwards and upwards to the next ones, I guess.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, I'm
down.
Have
to do another one after this one.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not taking no for an answer on that one. I'm going to be thinking in the back of my head and experimenting with this and coming up with what's the next what's the next one? I'm probably going to be making like templates of Cubase, like, you know, it just new and interesting ways to incorporate this sequencer for sure.
Awesome, man. And I'd love to hear any input you have on the plugin or otherwise, and we'll be in touch. And have a great tour,
bro. Thank you so much,
this
man.
entire month where you were like working tirelessly towards this. Like the viewers have no idea. Like Mike was so dedicated from the first moment. Like it blew my mind that he reached out and was like, "Hey, this Beat Scholar thing looks pretty cool." And I sent him an early copy, but he was fairly busy. And then he reached out and was like, "Okay, I want to do something with this." And we came up with a plan, resulting in this live stream and the preset pack and everything. And he's been on it like crazy. And I couldn't thank you any more.
You're so welcome, man. It's been a beautiful partnership and a wonderful opportunity for me to explore sponsorship in a way that I've wanted to do for a very long time, which is truly meaningful, truly helpful. And yeah, thank you for supporting me and allowing me to help support you and to just bring this to more people. I absolutely love it. I'm looking forward to keeping that going because making music is fun, and it just got a bit more fun for me. So that's awesome. Good luck to all of you in the giveaway. I'm so glad that you had an opportunity to be part of that. But you know, if it doesn't work out and you still want to pick it up, you can use the code MALYANDRUM to grab an extra discount off of that. That's MALYANDRUM. You can just type that in, and that should be perpetually available from this moment on. So yeah, give that a go. Or thank you once again. I'm gonna throw it over on Twitch to my friend the 8-Bit Drummer. He is going and playing some ridiculous 8-bit drumming music right now, so if you're watching on Twitch, you're just gonna pop straight over onto there. But from us, it's a great big thank you, and lots of love, and I hope to see you on the road. Or once again, thank you so much, my dude.
I love you, man.
Love you too, dude. All the best. Raid call, just Malian Raid. Let's throw Malian Raid in there. All the best to all of you. Be well. See you around.
See ya.